Good to go?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you guys all for coming out. Thank you guys that are coming in on the live feed. My name is Kevin McKay, Cindy McQuaid, Stone Bear. I'm a proud member from Pine Creek First Nation. And just a little intro about myself. I've been working with the band since 2010, the fall of 2010 I started, in various positions. And to where I currently am now, 21, 22, is where I really excel in my work. We did a lot of fishing, camping, hunting, trapping, medicine picking, drumming, PE teachings, and all kinds of programs within the Jordan's Principal program. And I would also like to add that I do have been a member. I lived off reserve with my family about 20-some years ago, and I know the struggles and then the barriers that we have to face out there is very tough. And then, with that being said, one second, bear with me. I stand here today with you all because I believe in the strength in the community. I am committed, determined, and ready to serve you all as our counselor in Pine Creek. And I'm not here to make any promises that I can't keep. I'm here for the needs for our members, both on and off reserve. Whether it be better roads, safer streets, supporting local businesses, and there is a lot of local businesses here in Pine Creek. Lots of businesses that we can all support and utilize. And also improving our public services. And also creating more opportunities for our members and our elders. So if elected, I will bring forth the best options and possibilities that I can, not just what's easy, but what is right and effective. And give me 1 second, just bear with me, guys. It takes a lot to come up here and speak to you guys. I also believe in transparency and accountability. And I will always make the best decision that's going to benefit our members, both on and off reserve. And like I said in my campaign trail, my door is always going to be open to all of you. I'm going to try my best for everyone, with whoever's sitting beside me at the table. 6 counselors and 1 chief. I'm ready to work with everybody. My goal is simple. I will always be approachable. I will always be present. And I'll always be there to listen to your guys' concerns. Everyone, on and off reserve. So with that being said, everyone, thank you guys very much for taking the time for listening to me here. I had to build it up all week to come up here and talk. I never did this ever. But I am ready to step forward for you guys. Whether it's going to be standing behind you, beside you, or in front of you, we'll all do it together. So here I'm asking for your guys' support. I'm asking for your guys' trust. And I'm asking for your vote. Let's move forward together, everybody. Let's keep the momentum going. I love all you guys' anxiety and trimming much.
All right, thank you, Kevin. Is there anybody have any questions for Kevin? Nothing online?
Okay. You know what, I'll be here all evening. I'll be out and mingling with everybody. I'm not going anywhere.
Thank you very much.
Thank you guys very much.
Sorry, we'd like to ask the next consular candidate, Randy Mosel, to step up to the podium. Thank you. You have 5 minutes for your speech, and it will be timed, and 5 minutes following for question period.
Hello, everybody. Ani, Tanse, Bonjour. My name is Randy Costa. I'm 31 years old. I have 2 beautiful daughters, Cora and Honey. My mom is Paula Richter. My stepdad is Randy Richter. My dad is Smiley Costa. Daryl. My grandparents are Lola and the late George Morrow and late Vivian and Camille Costa. I graduated with a Bachelor of Business degree from the UCN in 2030. And I'm also a certified human resources manager. And I'm currently studying to become a chartered professional accountant with CPA Manitoba. So I accepted my nomination to run for council because I have a vision for our community, for Pine Creek to be financially independent. I have worked and lived in Pine Creek all my life, and since I was young, I always wanted to see change. We made plenty of progress in the last 8 years, and now we have an opportunity we can't afford to lose out on. If elected, I would love to work with council and community members to utilize our settlement money to bring economic prosperity and keep the money in the community. To gain economic prosperity in Pine Creek, I want to achieve these goals in the next 4 years of community support and opportunity to decide which venture to pursue first with the community goal. Take it to the community members to vote which one they'd like to see first. I'm going to write out talk about some ideas that different band members. So I'd like to work with BMO to open a branch for communities. Social clients won't have to pay for rides on town and court, and businesses can withdraw money to refill their ATMs, complete business transactions, make cash deposits, and it'll save on travel expenses related to all programs. We don't have to travel anymore. I'd like to build a hotel with 15 rooms to start. Teams can stay when we attend events. Reporters and motivational speakers can utilize the walls. We can also use the hotel to house families in emergency situations as well as adults needing a safe space. I'd like to build a strip mall and designate space for a lash technician, nail technician, hairdressers, massage therapists, tattoo artists, and allow local businesses to open a shop in the mall as they like. We have certified community members to provide these services. And members won't have to fight out the community anymore, and it keeps growing the community. I'm going to purchase cows and chickens to be tended to by community members, and so help be self-sustaining towards food sovereignty. We can harvest eggs, milk, teach our people to respect the animals, teach the kids, and dominate other foods from these products. We'll need to bring in outside help, and once we learn these techniques, it'll be good for our community members to carry on into the future generations. With the call every year, we bring in a lot of outsiders to our community. I'd like to see a boardwalk from the Palo grounds to the shore near Brent, the arena. It would help our community members to exercise and community members go outside to see our beautiful scenery. walk around, promote tourism, and we could send out letters for donations from other businesses, community members, and once we build the boardwalk, we'll have everybody's names on each side, and it'll show a sense of belonging and pride. Because they'll see your name, where your family's name on the boardwalk. Another thing, a community member mentioned is buying a hotel in Winnipeg for our programs to utilize it for people traveling in. It could also be used as emergency housing for adults and youth in the city, families. As we grow, we open our doors to outside communities. I understand the legal aspects of keeping businesses confidential, but I'd like to have some input.
Sorry, it's 5 minutes now. It's been 5 minutes.
Okay,
So do we have anybody have any questions for Randy online? No further questions, or no questions. Thank you very much. I'd also like to add in the back some snacks or refreshments. Please feel free to help yourselves. So now we'll move on to the next councillor candidate, Joe Chanushi. We have 5 minutes, and then 5 minutes for question period.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to take the time to come out today to listen to the candidate speeches for the 2025 general election. I'm going to start off by introducing myself. My name is Joe Bushy. My name is Joe Bushy. I'm the son of Joseph Larry Bushy and Beverly Scratchy Bushy. I was raised in Winnipeg from the ages of 3 to my adult years. I am a recent graduate of the Indigenous Addictions Counseling course that was offered here in the community. I was recently employed with Minegoziibe Anishinabe officer the Children's Principal. Being employed with Children's Principal, I have submitted my criminal record checks, my adult and child abuse registry checks, and I've lived with drug and alcohol abuse-free lifestyle for the last 5.5 years. With my introduction out of the way, I would like to start by talking about economic development. I believe the outgoing chief and council are on the right path to our freedom and independence of government funding and reliance. All government funding is designated for specific programs and purposes and can be used and can only be used for what it is intended for. The funding cannot be used for other projects or emergencies. The band only receives funding for officers and members. I'll give you an example. We have approximately 6,500 band members. Say that 2,000 band members reside on reserve and the other 4,500 band members reside off reserve. The federal government will give the band funding for those 2,000 band members who live on reserve. The federal government will then make the provincial government pay funding for the other 4,500 band members living off the reserve. The province will then use this funding for social assistance, which is used for Indigenous people, white people, and immigrants. So our off-reserve funding is used for everyone in the province. This is the reason why it is crucial to create our own source of revenue by creating our own businesses. With the revenue, we can help off-reserve members more often. Another endeavor that I would like to pursue is opening up a true gas station in McPhillips Street in Winnipeg. It's all about location. In the city, the first true gas bar was opened just outside of the city of Hidden, Manitoba, called Arbok Smoking Gas Bar. Once Longtime's First Nations opened the gas bar at 490 Madison Street, they quickly put Arbok Gas Bar out of business. Again, I'll repeat, it's all about location. If Pine Creek was to open up a gas bar in McPhillips, it would take the majority of Longtime's business solely because of its location. The majority of the off-reserve members, of our off-reserve members live in the North End, Central, Garden City, Naples, and West End areas of the city. McPhillips would be a prime location. I believe this gas bar would generate millions in gas and cigarette sales alone. With the revenue generated, Pine Creek own businesses we can use for housing. We have our own tradespeople on the reserve. Our source revenue will create jobs for carpenters, plumbers, and electricians. With our source revenue, we can purchase building materials and build our own houses. And once completed, there will be no mortgage payments, as we will own these houses outright. I would like to see a house dedicated for off-reserve members attending funerals on reserve. Hotels are very expensive and are 30 to 60 minutes away. This house could be equipped with 5 to 10 sets of bunk beds, which could sleep 10 to 20 people. I believe this would resolve issues for off-reserve members attending funerals. While I cannot build fences for everyone, because it is extremely costly, I would like to build small dog kennels, as I believe this would resolve the safety issues of dog attacks and also keep family pets safe. I would like to get more elders involved in the community activities, as their life experiences are very valuable, and to continue to have activities for them. In closing, because of time constraints, my focus was on economic development, as I believe revenue generated can be extremely beneficial to both on and off reserve members. I would like to thank you all for your time, and have a safe ride home.
Thank you very much. Do we have any questions for councillor candidate? Anything online? No? All right, thank you very much. I'd also like to add that there's a sludge bowl off to the side and anybody's free to use it. So we'll move on to our next councillor candidate, Kevin McGish, Skinny. You've got 5 minutes once you start your speech, and 5 minutes for questions.
Hello. Jimmy. Nandamon no maybe sure. Nashkuge, you know, as any bogi wabadan, Nashkuge ni. Can't wait to go, Ninandam, we're going to ask Teknungum. The Magis Yok Anishinabek. Gaging to Kandan here. Gainin and Manandam, thus, we're going to Anin Janishnabek, quick to go, quite do to mock Gagunungum. Chiego me, Gainin, quick to go, no do them, quick to go, Gago. Miashin, Nimibe Tunungum. Ne koi do dem mi shige go koi kigo jamin tagastanage in Anishinabe wiji shin anin jene koi do dem koi kigo ge go ma akaziyok Anishinabe nungum mi bo Anishinabe kakaziyok ne kandan ge ni mi ne wab mak Anishinabe ne bok kan koi mi Kabe Banujiok, Kaniniok, Kaino Nokiok, can quake me yet to go. He wants Nabe, Kikandan Oganes, Kikandan Gagin or Giwabadan me, Kigojamin Tagastanawi G Shingainin, and in Jquake, Kigunique do them gego. Me watch Nedikita appear, me Jiggy G Shin. I want to say more in our language, but I don't want to come out making accusations. I don't want to come out. There's a lot that's going on in our scene, in our financial scene with the reserve. There's a lot that needs to be membership to stand up and make change and say, listen, we do the math. We understand what's happening to our community. And we want this change to come forward, but with this change comes hard decisions for membership. And through these hard decisions, it's up to you to make this change. Okay, you understand, you see what's going on today. And that's why I put my name forward and I came forward. You know, I'm Anishinabe. I understand what our people and who our people are. And what we're doing to each other is not right. And with your help, I'm going to try to do right and answer and get answers for membership for that. You know, and like I said, it requires some tough questions and bridges, but we can done. It's what's needed for our membership to really move forward and find our answers. And, you know, out of $205 million, and it does me, you know, where's it gone? Where's it? We need to immerse our children in this language. It's what's going to make us, and it's what's going to bring forth change to our community. So with that, you know, there's so much that I could say, and there's a lot of good things that's been said already by the candidates that came before me. So with the membership's help, we could make this change in our community. So like I said, there's so much more I want to say and address, but you know, we're given so much time here. And Kichimi Wech for giving me this time to speak and come forward. So Chimi Wech Nidikit. Oh.
My daughter to school with teacher and the principal. They will bring up people. My daughter, but about a health teacher who spoke to her in October, and she got taken off her teacher by the principal because of it. Why is my daughter being told to be quiet about what this man said to her? A teacher at the school. Why and nothing has been done? Nobody's helping us, nobody's walking for us. I didn't even get back from here. This was 3 weeks ago.
With an issue like that, I understand and I hear your pain. And I believe that some of the things in our community that we need is they've implemented restorative justice. We need healing circles. We need to put the abuser and the accuser together, and we need to find healthy ways for our community to heal. And I believe your situation would be a good example of, you know, bringing this forward in our community to give you and your family a chance to heal and to question that accuser without you're going, you know, I read some of the comments on it on the internet. I see what's going on, and it's a tough call, and that's where leadership should have stepped in and brought you some sense of closure where your issue is being addressed, and you know, and put a stop to what's going on at the school. And I too myself went through issues in that school with my children, and you know what? My back was against the wall, and I wished we had more intervention in terms of restorative justice and implementing some of these healing circles, because that's what's needed in the community. And you know, Anishinabe kanamiyawak nung kano yo can dani zige ni Anishinabe aninyo ka koza sa kaino namiyawak unike wak niye. Our people are forgetting to pray, and we need to understand that, you know, it doesn't matter which way whichever way you pray, it works, prayer works, and that's one of the biggest things we're forgetting in our community. So that's one of the things I want to push forward to is, you know, we need to pray. That's okay how you pray, but We need to immerse ourselves in that prayer. So I'm sorry if I don't have the answers you need right now, but definitely that's something we stop the community over to address is how I would put it. Stop the function of the school, stop it all and address that issue. That's the only way to move forward. There's other kids watching and they need to know they're safe. So that's a hard thing. That is a hard thing. And that's, some of my children suffer from that too, that they're hard to find closure. We've yet to heal. We've yet to address who they accused. And that's why I want to implement these healing circles so us too could find closure and healing. I don't know if I went over my time, but sorry. Okay. Shelley, watching, I hope you find that closure and I hope the community brings forward some justice for you. Shelley, watch.
Yeah, we have the board questions online.
Oh,
But can you stand?
okay.
If elected, will you agree to hold a four-year planning meeting with the members right after the election so the members have a say in how our community moves forward?
Oh, definitely, for meetings is needed for membership, for transparency. So, like, if anything happens, tell the people right away what's going on. Where the money, tell them right away, let membership know. That's called transparency, and we need to start exercising that more and get involved more with council. Shimmy Rich.
Thank you very much.
Get Shimmy Rich.
So we're going to bring back an order, and let's move on to the next council.
I suggest establishing groups for young adults coping with grief. Furthermore, providing healthy meals for our elders is essential. Purchasing warm trays and creating a questionnaire for dietary restrictions will be critical. Housing. Some concerns brought to my attention include homes that have not undergone renovations for the over 20 years. Addressing this issue will be one of my priorities if elected. Development. A laundromat is necessary development for our community. Many singles don't have access to laundry facilities. Perhaps we could utilize the old VLT space in the arena for coin-operated washers and dryers. The elders, the knowledge keepers of our culture, are struggling. They are on fixed budgets and should not have to pay expenses. We need to find a way to cover their costs. These are some of my ideas, nothing written in stone. The funds will have to be acquired. In closing, if elected, I will work diligently for the people. I will listen to your concerns and options. I will be your voice. Miigwech.
Just that one, if no one has any questions. No, you can ask that one.
If elected, if you agree to hold a 4-year planning meeting with the members right after the election, so the members have say in how our community moves forward.
Right, that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the people, not myself. I'm here for the people. That it? Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor
Move the mic stand. Move the mic. Yeah. You're moving. Move the one on top. No, just that. Yeah, that one. That one. It's over for me. Please. This one? Yeah. No, that mic. The mic stand. Oh. Yeah.
Good evening. Be a busy day. I had to go restock and do things in town. I just got back. My name, for you guys don't know my name is Brent Bronto. So I'm running for council this year. I'm standing here to present all my vision and goals for all band members for on and off reserve. The first thing I want to talk about is about myself a little bit. I'm a business-minded person. I'm reliable, honest, trustworthy. I'm very compassionate person. Anything I do, I put my heart into it. I'm a team person, and I'm willing to work with anyone that gets elected this year. I also want to touch on little things about my vision and goals. There's so much things we could talk about. I know a lot of us all sound the same, and so, but I'll touch on a little bit of things anyways. Just with the elders, I'll speak about the elders first. We need more healthcare aid workers, yard maintenance, shoveling grass, cutting, regular for them. When we're going around visiting them, I know a lot of people went around visiting. We need a lot of that. A lot of people need a lot of help, those elders. Regular visits for them and also monthly activities for them, etc. There's a lot more. Now we have a little bit of time here, so let me say, what else say? These are the little visions I know a lot of people seen my pamphlets already. There's the fish packing plant. The reason why we want to get this going too is because there's a lot of fishermen in these 3 areas. There's people would save a lot of money on gas. They're also wear and tear on their vehicles, they'll be home sooner to be with their family more. Also, another little idea, I know I spoke to a lot of different people, and there's also solar panels cut down on our hydro and our beautiful buildings in the area. So also I want emergency workers, people always dealing with plumbing and electrician. I always wanted them myself. Like we really need that. Even on the weekends, we need someone that we could call and we could go get that done for sure right away. It's emergency. Also want to get on, a lot of people are telling me they wanted the radio station back up and running events. What they used to do before too. So, and we're still doing good. Everything that all the council did, there's a lot of stuff that is always good in our community. I want to get the gym going. I know they're starting to do that already. Also would like to get some saunas in there and some other little different ideas that we could talk about. And also just moving forward with the grocery store. And we could even talk about the first response and also like First Nations police. There's for our First Nations, and also just say a little speech here before I go. I have a lot more visions I want to see happen for our people. I want both on and off reserve members to be treated with respect and treated fairly. If you give me a chance, I will do my very best to bring prosperity and hope for all the people. My heart is in the right place. I have a great heart and I will make a great leader. Just please vote for me, Brent Bronto, Councillor on June 10th, and all the other polls. Good.
Any questions on the bill for him? Here, I'll take it.
Yes. My daughter at school, she was brushed off and punished. And taken off her school trip because she pulled on the speaker out of the school spirit. Like, from all the time. Well, I work in a school and there's policies they have to go through. I know that's what we're talking about. Like me, myself, I couldn't post online because I work in the school. There's different ways to go about this, but there's but I know it's your situation because you're a parent, right? And it hurts. So I understand all that. You could be angry, but they'll probably like it all. They can't just brush under the rug, eh? But it is something they both have different sides, right? So I don't really know that part of the situation, but being in a professional field, we can't really say anything else too. But well, you could probably get suspended for like a month or something, but he'll probably end up getting his job back. He could be warned. That will be his suspension too. You have to talk to the school about that too. The ones that are leading. Yeah. And do we have counselors at the school? Yeah, not right away. Yeah. Well, I think we have counselors at the school, right? Yeah. 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 Yeah, well, I hear your voice, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, there's a question from online. If elected, would you agree to hold 4-year planning meeting with the members right after the election, so the members have a say in how our community moves forward?
So read that again.
It's from online.
Okay. Yes. Okay, sorry. Yes, I would. Yeah, I would love to do that. I'm okay with that for sure.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
We're on schedule, so we're going to take a 10-minute break. And then we'll resume.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Forget though, you gotta fix that speaker. Just kidding.
You have 5 minutes for your speech and then 5 minutes for questions following. Yep, it's okay. Just want to check.
After being away, working and doing other things. But I'm just gonna cut to the chase. And the one thing I've noticed after being home is that the drugs here have gotten harder. The drugs here have affected people more than ever. You know, like back then when I was a kid, when I was in my teens, like it was just marijuana. You know, marijuana never killed anyone. Now the stuff that's being sold now by these same people and other people bringing it in, you know, it's ruining lives. You know, it's sad to see. I never thought we'd see loved ones walking around mindless. It's sad. We're supposed to be here to take care of our young people and our older people. You know, stuff like that is not supposed to be enabled. So these people that are doing that, maybe ask yourself something, you know? You're ruining lives. How can you go to sleep like that at night, doing what you do? So what I would like to do to oppose upon nomination is, let's see, like every spring and every fall, I would like to have like awareness course, like for drugs at the school, every spring, every fall, so the kids will know. Because if no one's going to teach them, the school might as well. You know, like the mass effects of the stuff it does to kids and whatnot, the harsh realities, the rawness of it, the cruelness of it. And moving on to elections and work, wherever I've worked, they've always asked for your driver's abstract, your criminal record check, your drug check, your child abuse registry. So if you want to run for leadership of a community, that should also be imposed, like prior. You know, and you should be asked those questions if you're like where your heart is, where you want to, your true intentions for the growth of the community. You know, like do you want to better it or are you just in it for yourself? As for some of my ideas, what I would like to do for off reserve and
a little bit of the community. I'd like to try and create like, well, I'll just go with Winnipeg first. I would somehow like to purchase like a big building so we could house our officer band members that have lower income and then make it for lower income. Like maybe equip it with a daycare, a mental health recovery support center, like a transportation for post-secondary if they're staying there. And have buildings like that established in Dauphin, Brandon, and in Winnipeg. In Headingley, maybe if we could buy one of the motels if they want to partner up with us. Because a lot of our band members, whenever there's big events going on in the city, it's always hard for us to find accommodations and rooms. And one thing I would like, another thing I would like to get going is the TLE investment. The TLE investment is like the cows and plows, but it's just worth more, and it takes a lot more work to get done. The TLE project runs all the way from Good Harbor all the way to town to Pine River, 15-mile Campbell. Last time I checked, it was worth up to just over $2 billion. So if we actually got the ball rolling on that, we might not see it, but our kids will see it. So, and we also have a huge limestone project. We also have a huge limestone deposit out by Napoleon Nickish as well that we could use as that we could get going as like a resource. Thank you.
So, any questions or comments?
So, to answer your question, like I kind of felt that in school with my son in Winnipeg, but not to like harassment. This was bullying. So what happened was the teacher was put on administrative leave with no penalty, until he got it like investigated and sorted out. So what we did was we all met together and we sorted out and like as to what really happened. We got right down, we sorted out, no one so when it boiled down to it, there was just kids being kids, so that's how I could relate. So what I would do is we get the principal involved, we get the teacher involved, we would get maybe the band leadership involved, like our own HR involved, and just come together and see what's going on. But the way I see it, your daughter, she should have gotten asked not to go to the prom. It's for kids, like how many, like we don't have that opportunity to go to prom. Like I guess a lot in my life, but that's what I would do. Well, then I guess the leadership should be more accountable and more diligent. Yeah. Well, that's why, that's why you want to be a leadership person. Like, because if you want to be a leadership position, you have to answer the bad stuff as well, You can't just take every apple off the tree. You have to help the people, because that's what you're running for. You have to pull people together. You have to ask questions. You have to get right to the root of the problem, the solution, and then come up with a reasonable reason.
So for all my questions we got, how are you going to create effective change for those fighting with addictions and those in mental health crises?
Well, if we establish a mental health facility support system in Winnipeg, we have to get our healthcare workers to go out, sometimes to go out and meet people and talk to people, because a lot of these guys, because they always can't make it to the building, and sometimes people are just scared to come in and talk to people, so our workers will have to go out and use windows and just talk to people. Chat, assess them, if they need to come in, move them in. You know, there's ways to every solution.
Right, I've been asked the next one online. If elected, you agree to hold 4-year final meeting with the members right after the election. So the members have to stay or how we'll work together. Move forward together, I'm sorry.
Well, how we would do this is, well, how I would do this is have it every year, because you have to do an audit. So based on our leadership as well, right? We have to be we have to be accountable as well to see how we're doing as leaders. Sorry, I'm getting thirsty. So that's how I would do it. I would do it every year, not every 4 years.
All right, thank you very much. So I'm going to the chief candidate here in Nepinak. All right, you have 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions following.
Test. Bonjour, Anishinabe. Nibin Makwa. Indigenous Makwa Tokla. Derek Nepinak. You all know who I am. As I get started here, I'm thinking about leadership in our community, and often brought back to an earlier time in my life. You know, like many of us, we reflect upon who we are in this community and where we belong and who our family is. And I think a lot about my grandpa and my grandma who used to live just down the road there. And I think about the lessons that they gave me when I came into this world. You know, my uncles always brought fish and meat home. My grandma always kept a garden. We're very self-sufficient, self-reliant, self-determining people. We took care of ourselves as a family. And I noticed over the years things changed, more reliance on the band office. We stopped looking out for one another and started looking for the band office for all of our solutions. And that's really unfortunate that that's the way things have gone and things have shifted. But that's the reality we're in today. We have to get back to taking care of one another, looking out for our neighbors again, because we're not doing that anymore. I want to acknowledge the work of the council. For the last, 4 years, I've worked with 4 councillors who showed up every day to do the best they could. And you know what we did? We focused on consensus building as governance. Consensus building means we all take ownership of the decisions that are made together. And when you work with a council that's willing to take ownership of the decisions, it means that somebody can't just step aside and say, I didn't agree with them. We take the good with the bad together. And that's why we were successful. That's why we were able to move agendas and mandates forward. It's not always fun. It's not always pretty. And we fought. We had fights. But you know what? We put our best foot forward and we did the best we could for the community. And I make that same commitment to the next council if I'm reelected. The council is going to grow to 6 and it's going to be difficult to build consensus with 7 people. But I make that commitment that I'll work with who you elect, no matter what. People have messaged me, they've called me and said, who are you going to be voting for? Who should we support for council? And I don't answer that question, because everybody on that list deserves a chance to be heard. Everybody on the list deserves a chance to put their best foot forward in leadership. That's what we are. Everybody brings a gift to the forefront. Everybody brings a gift to the table that they can contribute to the well-being of our community. And it doesn't matter what your last name is. We got to come together, because that's what's expected of us. Consensus governance is what works in our community. And that's why we've been able to move the agenda. We've gone through a lot of financial restructuring in the last few years. We came out of a pandemic. We had 150 reports to catch up on in 2022-23, because Canada wasn't asking for reports during the pandemic. So we did a lot. And my hat goes off to the administration that stepped up, the financial people that did the extra work, put in the extra hours. We grew to 5,600 members in this community. And when I was a little boy in the 80s, we had about 600 or 700 band members. Now we're at 5,600. And we're having bigger conversations now. We're starting to talk about the real history of our community. We're acknowledging that there was a Duck Bay Treaty Band in our history in 1874, that they signed treaty and that our families came together. And this community is made up of Duck Bay families as well as Treaty 2 families that have decided to come and live here. And the Nepenaks are one of those families. We came across the lake in 1902, and that's how we became grounded in this community. I want to acknowledge that there has to be a Duck Bay project that's initiated to make sure that we talk about that historical Duck Bay Treaty Band and where do they stand in this current day, in this current governance environment. We need to recognize them at the Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs, at the Assembly of First Nations, and make sure that they have a seat so that they can progress with their claim. We also need to initiate a community water project. I've already started putting together a feasibility study to run a water pipe from our water treatment plant all the way to the corner of Highway 20 and 272. We can run water on both sides of the highway all the way to there. And then we can go a little bit west if we want to. We also need to dig a new sewage lagoon. We're at the top of the list in the National Infrastructure Plan for a new sewage lagoon. And we can also run a low pressure sewage system all the way to the highway and back so that everybody can stop worrying about pump outs and just flush your toilet and the sewage will take care of itself. Right, Glenn? We need to do these things. That's a big project. It's going to be $10 to $15 million, but we can finance that. We can put it together. I also plan on putting together a 50-house subdivision right back here.
That's in 5 minutes.
That was quick. That was very quick.
Any questions?
Like which? The feasibility study that came out in 2020, it talked about the water capacity at the water treatment plant, and they said we have capacity to run from the treatment plant all the way south to highway at that intersection there of 272 and 20. And the reason why we're looking south first is because of the population density and the number of houses that are going in that area. That water line can extend to all those homes in that area first. But if we go north, there's less houses that way. And it might be something that can be done in time. It can be done in time. But right now, I think that because it's a long project and it's going to take probably 2 to 3 years to get it done, we got to start going south first. But thank you for that. I think we do need to go north eventually because there are a lot of homes, obviously. And there's new lots being cut in the north side of the community as well. So in time, Rachel, I think we can do that. Maybe in this lifetime.
Another question there.
Yeah, the feasibility study that was done recognized that the highest point of land on the reserve runs right behind the arena here. And then it goes kind of southwest, and then it swings south all the way to Highway 20. we can cut a road, and I think that it's like the trees have already been felled in that area once. We can cut a road all the way to the highway, and we can put lots on both sides of the road. I would like to go to Indigenous Services Canada and get that site developed there. Cut out lots, get electricity and water and sewage to those lots. And by year 3 or 4, I think we can do a 50-house project along that road. I think we can, but I mean, that's gonna require more community discussion to make sure that that's where people want to go. Because I know we've already cut some lots further north and we've already cut some lots up west as well. Do we want to develop those sites first, or do we just want to run and rush and get this done? That's going to be up to the community to decide. Youth boxing. I've been seeing what's been happening with our youth boxing. I see the updates that are on social media, and I know we got a lot of tough young people here. I think that it takes a lot of discipline to be able to be an athlete. It takes a lot of discipline to be able to go out there and get punched around, and I think we have the people that can do it. So yeah, if that's what we want to do, I believe it. I also believe strongly in our hockey program. You know, we've been very successful in hockey in the last number of years, and when our community goes out to Saskatchewan or to Winnipeg, people are asking about Pine Creek and how did you guys come around so quickly. I think that our community is dedicated to building our youth sports, and I think that we got to keep doing that because our young people are learning to thrive in that space. We recognized, going back to just talk about this briefly, going back to about 2010, maybe 2009, late Clifford McKay came to the band office one day and he said, "Chief, I need to speak to you about something." He said, "I had a dream last night." And he said, "In that dream, there was a moose that walked up to me and it was very sick and it was very small and thin and there was clumps of fur that were falling off that moose." And he said, "I think we have to stop hunting in the Duck Mountains for a while." So I said, "Thank you for bringing that to us," because already the province was saying that the numbers of moose are way, way down. And it's not us. You know, it's not us that's done it. It's so many different things. The water quality, the clear cutting that LP was doing, all the other hunters from all over Saskatchewan and northern Manitoba that were coming into our territory, just taking so many moose out in an unsustainable way. So we invited Bill Blakey to our community, and I gave him an arrowhead. And I said, "We've been taking care of this land for thousands of years. Here's an arrowhead to show you how we take care of our resources." And he was touched by that. You know, and he understood that we know how to take care of the land. We know how to take care of the water. And we all decided to stop hunting Duck Mountain for a while. So a lot of us went to Saskatchewan, different parts of our traditional territory, but not Duck Mountain. We let it sit. And when we started going back...
That's 5 minutes.
Okay. The numbers are coming back. They're coming back strong. We can go out there and we can harvest each year, but we got to be careful because it's still a delicate harvest. Miigwech for your question.
There's one more question I want to ask. If I'm correct, we harvest lumber on our own land through the Indian Act. And if we can, why can't we do that to support the housing projects in our community?
We have an allocation that we haven't exercised in the forestry management agreement. And right now, smart people like Jeremy McKay and Alanis McKay are out there and they're talking to the province about what does the forestry management license look like going into the next 10, 15 years. Okay, so we can negotiate a modest harvest to be able to fell our own timber and bring it home. We can do that. That's within the vision of the forestry management agreement. We just haven't had those conversations yet. Thank you. Miigwech. Thank you.
I just want to say something, okay? My number's on its way. I have every right to speak. My name is JP, and I don't have a question, but I just want to thank you for coming home for us and to look around and see everything you've done for us. Everything is so thousand clothes for them. That's a big no for family. And thank you so much, and please don't ever leave us.
Let's move on now. Thank you very much, Senator. And we'll move on to Councilor candidate, Lafir. You have 5 minutes from your speech and then 5 minutes for question periods after.
Just gonna bring that back here. No? Okay. Okay. Good day. Okay. Bonjour, Amin. Tansei, hello, everyone. I want to thank everyone in attendance, both with us in person and the members tuning in online. About me, my name is Kyle Lafir. I'm 40 years old and proudly married to my wife, Amber Lafir, a dedicated social worker pursuing her master's degree. I was born and raised in Camperville. My parents are Mitchell Lafir, career CAO, and Linda Lafir, a career teacher at MAS. I spent the first 12 years of my career in the construction field and the last 11 years in public service with various governments, provincial, municipal, local, and First Nation governments. I hold a diploma in natural resources through the University College of the North. In addition, I have completed courses in auditing, economic development, and freedom of information and protection, privacy protection. My bookkeeping training was under Chartered Professional Accountants out of Swan River. I served as CAO for Camperville for 3 years, successfully delivering clean audits while overseeing the addition of key equipment assets, all this without increasing the financial burden to the community. I currently serve as Executive Assistant to Chief and Counsel in Minegoziibe, Anishinabe, though I have taken a leave of absence as per policy and fairness to the election process. I want to acknowledge previous leadership. I want to thank them for the work they have done. Their work has moved our nation forward, and my plan is to simply build on that positive momentum. So Kitchimiigwach, previous leadership. And I also want to say, wow, did you guys see the signs and the videos for this election campaign of the other candidates? It's literally a sign of the skills and talent of our members growing. It's we're no longer catching up. We're actually setting the standard for elections elsewhere. Something to be proud of. So for my platform, I have 9 primary matters if I get elected. These are the ones I want to pursue. The first one, governing and financial transparency. Immediately, I will put forth a motion for bank finances, meeting minutes, and BCRs to be posted online for all members to have access to. I want to build trust with our nation. I also want to build our nation's name to be recognized as a reliable business partner, a great customer, and a worthy recipient of any grants to be awarded out. 2, fiscal responsibility. Keeping a balanced budget and maximizing support to the nation is paramount. To counter the expenses of new and its needed leadership, the 2 added councillors, I plan to reduce travel costs by attending as many meetings as I can virtually. This will save on mileage, accommodations, and meals, allowing funds to be reallocated to support quests from band members, both on and off reserve. 3, off reserve equity. Over 4,000 of our members, which is the majority of our membership, live off reserve. I'll push for inclusion of off reserve member support using our own source revenues, funds that we allocate as we see fit.
Additionally, I propose having a dedicated portfolio for off-reserve matters, for housing and population growth. More homes means more members living on reserve, which increases our federal funding. I'll support building new homes, renovating existing homes, and push for support for families wanting to move homes back into the community. I will also push to expand infrastructure and water and septic capacity. And for economic development, I want to establish a large grocery store for the community, no more traveling for members. I want to build a hotel. And I also want to create a business that takes advantage of our resources that we have here at home, namely hunting and fishing. I want to create a language program that pays elders to translate stories written by our youth. This will let the youth tell their stories in our own language and provide an income for elders. I want to pursue a full-size fire truck. I also want to pursue spay and neuter clinics every 6 months and rewards for academic performance in cash. That's for students that have perfect attendance and perfect marks. And okay, so on that, and on that, go Oilers go. They can clinch tonight. I could cut you.
Are you familiar with that $23 billion that was released by the First Nation and what that money is supposed to be used for?
The $23 billion dollars? Actually, you know what? I don't, but I could follow up with that with you. Betterment of life? Yes, sir. Okay. Well, 23 billion, that's worth taking a look at, so I can assure you that I will definitely take a look at that. Any more questions? Okay, there, okay, three orders. Okay, so regarding the recent school incident, I would push for, if it happened today, I would push for an immediate investigation. Any policies dealing with such matters should be fast-tracked. I want full clarity on the situation and for Frontier School Division to take appropriate action without delay. The student involved must be included in school events and protected when coming forward with concerns. That's my approach. That's my belief. I don't know if that answers your question, but that's what I would push for.
Okay. We have a question from online.
Okay.
How are you going to create effective change for those fighting with addictions and those in mental health crisis?
Okay, so for mental health crisis, I want to see our Rising Sun Healing Lodge play a stronger role in addressing mental health challenges, including drug and alcohol addictions. So I'm open to supporting members that would need, I want to say counseling, but treatment outside of the community. I'd be open to that. But I want to strengthen the Rising Sun by having a consistent presence of mental health workers. That's my answer for that question.
And the next question is, if elected, would you agree to hold 4-year flash meeting with the members right after the election so the members have a say about how we all move forward together?
Yes, actually, I'm open to holding a community meeting once the new chief and council are in place, once they have decided or identified key issues and developed realistic solutions for the 4-year term and bring that forth to the community. That is called transparency, and that's what I would aim to do.
Any further questions? Thank you very much.
It's me, right?
We'll now move on to the next councilor candidate, Jennifer Leanne Charlene. You have 5 minutes for the speech and 5 minutes following for questions.
Welcome, everyone. Hi, officer. So as I begin today, I would like to express my genuine excitement for being here today. Did you know our membership has experienced remarkable growth over the past couple of years with an increase of almost 2,000 members? Please allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jennifer Leanne Chartrand, and I am a proud member of Pine Creek First Nation. I grew up in Winnipeg until I moved home in my early 20s. Being raised in the North End with my 2 brothers by my single mother has taught me many valuable life lessons. For one, I learned how to navigate the city bus at the age of 12. I haven't rode on a bus since then. Living in the city also allowed me to gain experience in the banking industry. I have over 7 years experience working in the Royal Bank and at Peace Hills Trust. However, it was not until I moved home that I realized my desire was to remain here, having established a profound connection with my family and the community. I appreciate the significance of our land and the surrounding waters, and I am committed to honoring our responsibilities to them. A strong sense of belonging inspired me to raise my family here. As a parent of 4 children and 2 grandchildren, I strive to provide them a safe and healthy home. I have been inspired to run for council for some time now. And now that my children are old enough, I feel the time is right. With over a decade of experience serving our community, my affection has deepened. It would be a great honor to serve the members, and I am committed to doing my best. My community-based work experience includes roles at the VLTs, the daycare, the 3 schools in our communities, and with CFS. I would also like to draw attention to a couple of significant work experiences. In one of my roles, I managed the gas barn. I oversaw all aspects of operations, including employee management, inventory control, customer service, and financial performance. I then moved on to post-secondary counselor, where I provided guidance to students, consulted with parents, teachers, and professionals. I established relationships with post-secondary institutions and enhancing my skills and my knowledge. With my extensive work experience in all the areas that I mentioned, I believe I have acquired a significant amount of knowledge to bring forth into the role as a counselor. In my free time, I enjoy providing haircuts, hairstyles, and perms to our members. This allows me to establish personal connections with our members. Now I would like to emphasize and elaborate on some of the key areas in my platform that I presented in my brochure. Specifically, I propose exploring the provision of an ambulance service for our 3 communities. Did you know that Meadow Portage has a population of 70, and they have an ambulance? And with our 3 communities, we have over 2,000. So also training EMS workers, establishing a mental health crisis stabilization unit here in Pine Creek, alleviating the housing crisis that is often experienced on and off reserve due to the lack of stable, permanent, and suitable housing. I also suggest creating a child protection unit. That includes parents, community members, and professionals both off and on reserve. When there is an incident in the community, we can respond quickly if we had a child protection unit. Furthermore, I recommend advocating for off-reserve members while keeping them informed. I also suggest having a counselor spend 1 week per month in Winnipeg, utilizing the urban office that we have over there to collaborate hands-on with our off-reserve members. In the light of numerous innovative ideas, it is essential to consider strategies for implementation. What actions can we take to accomplish our goals? Research, it's a vital component. What funding opportunities are available to support our ideas? I am willing to commit time to assume the responsibility of continuing research and securing funding. A significant aspect of research involves collaborating with other communities. No! Wait, to gather the insights and the implementation strategies and practices. Oh my. I was almost done. Okay, thank you. I did. Thanks. Oh, I thought I was done. Okay, 5 more minutes.
So the first one is, how are you going to be effective change in those critical conditions and those with mental health crisis?
Finding, well, every situation would be different, right? Because if it's off reserve or on reserve, and like I was saying, we need units here. Like we would need a mental crisis unit here. Say if someone OD'd, instead of waiting out, like I would say an hour, if we had an ambulance, it would be here. But if we had a unit to protect them until they got the help they needed, that's something I would like to do, like with the child protection unit.
What are your plans for supporting children off reserve?
So to support the children off reserve, I would say I would like to, well, because there's no more Jordan, well, see where Jordan's principal goes right now, but let me get back to that question. I only got 5 minutes, but I got to think about that one for 1 second.
You plan to work with federal funders to increase funding for programs.
Can you repeat that question?
How do you plan to work with federal funders to increase funding for programs?
Oh, that's what I was talking about earlier. Like, we can research all the funding, look at what's there and go with it. And then also, like, I've been talking to, I have a lot of networking off reserve, like being the post-secondary counselor. I met a lot of people who are still my friends. I have a lot of chiefs, grand chiefs, counselors, and they have been like since this since our campaign started, sharing with me what works for them. So I was like, that's probably the route I would go, is looking how they succeeded, what worked and didn't work, and go from there.
If elected, would you agree to hold a 4-year planning meeting with the members right after the election, so the members have a say on how we all move forward together?
Yeah, I didn't get to that part in my speech, but I had it down. If elected, I would like to propose that council present a first 100 days report to the community. This is important because in the first 100 days, it sets the stage for the rest of the 4 years. So that's what I like to do, is do the first 100 days, meet with everyone. So whoever's elected gets in, takes a look, and decides where they're going. Thanks.
Thank you.
Be good.
So we're on to the next councilor candidate, Marian. Is Marian in the building? Okay. So we're going to move on to the next councilor candidate, Anishinabe. We have 5 minutes for speech and 5 minutes for questions following.
Hi, good evening, Minegoziibe members. First of all, I'd like to send thoughts and prayers to our northern community, our band members who reside and work in the north. My heart goes out to you all. My name is Don McKay, for you who don't know me. I'm seeking re-election in the 2025 elections. A little background about myself who don't know me. I was born and raised in Pine Creek. My husband and I have been together for 26 years. Together we have 4 children and 2 grandchildren. When I was 19, my family left Pine Creek to further my education. When I returned to Pine Creek in 2012, I worked for the First Nation till I was elected in 2021. I came into this position blindly. I had no idea what to expect. In the last 4 years, I've been able to see through 95% of what I wanted to happen to help, with the help and support of my colleagues. Nothing is achievable without a great team. I'm so grateful for the team I was a part this last few years. During my time in the leadership, I was elected as chair of the West Region Treaty 2 Treaty 4 Health Service Board. I was also elected as the president of the Helping Hands Committee. If I am re-elected, what I'd like to see happen in the next few years is building on what is already in place, enhancing committees and programs that are already thriving for the betterment of our community for both on and off reserve. This new term, I'd like to see mental health resources double, if not triple. Our youth, elderly need mental health resources more than ever before. I'd like to see our treatment center be open this term. We purchased Trapper Don's Lodge to become our treatment center for families. The lodge is currently being used as a safe place as well as a cultural healing center until we move forward with our treatment center. We need Proctor homes as well in our community to support members who need 24/7, 7 days a week. This is for all band members. Our community needs a nursing station on reserve. We need something equipped and ready. I'd like to see a helicopter landing here as well, put at our nursing station for STARS helicopter to land quickly and safely. This could be life-saving for some of our members. Our housing department has improved drastically. We have 30+ new homes in our community. We tried to assemble a housing committee in the community, but didn't get enough community support this last term. Committee postings were posted, but it was unsuccessful. I'd like to see a strong housing committee formed, along with homeownership houses and single home houses. We need a new program implemented, something similar to Jordan's principle for our youth. We need to build it from the ground up. Minegoziibe has a lot of youth that utilize Jordan's principle due to the lack of funding. The program is not there to support. We need to build a new program that will be done through fundraising, donations, proposals, and grants. Our children are important and they were thriving from Jordan's principal program. I'd also like to see sweat lodges go up around the school, skinning and tanning shacks at the school. I would like to see drums back at the school again, planting and medicine harvesting become a course in the school that goes all year round. We need to implement the drug bylaw and animal bylaw for our community. I will push that all staff at Minegoziibe incorporated random drug testing that includes the school and CFS. The new elected chief and council will go first and post the results publicly for members to see. Leadership needs to be accountable as well. We need our own off-reserve counselor, a counselor that focuses on off-reserve members, a counselor that is put in place for off-reserve members, can request funds for members off-reserve, focus on grants and proposals for off-reserve members to ensure they all feel like members of Minegoziibe. In the last election, I stated that I wish to see a new Powell harbor. I looked into it and applied for grants that hadn't been succeed. I haven't given up though. I would appreciate getting a little bit more time to complete this project from last term. With that being said, it was an honor and privilege to serve you as a First Nation Band Council for the past 4 years. I respectfully ask for your continued trust and support in this upcoming election. Vote Angela McKay, for the Council, English.
Do you have any questions in the house?
How hard will it be to get an ambulance here?
We've been looking at it through the West Region Health Services. It takes a long time to get an ambulance here because we're federal. They would rather go on the provincial, either Camperville or Duck Bay, and I don't think anybody is wanting to do that right now. So I think our best bet right now is to go with the nursing station on reserve. Some of our communities, like Norway House, they have a nursing station and they're closer to Thompson than we are to our closest hospital. So I think we can benefit from a nursing station here that has access to everything that we need for medical attention.
I'd like to bring something to your attention. From here straight out right here is LP. You see that big website? Well, 80% of the time we read that it. We cannot do this. You don't tell me that way. When I do all of here, it's all sick. Cashless. Do you think that might be it?
It could be. I truly believe that too. Along with our diabetes of unhealthy eating, we're here in an isolated area that they only give us on social $275 to go shopping in Dauphin and Swan. And when you're single, you don't have a vehicle, somebody's gonna charge you $80. So you're left with $90. You're better off to buy chips and pop and come home and eat that for the next 30 days until you get your next social. So they call us North, but I say we're Central. Or they call us South, but I think we're Central. We should be labeled separate from the South and the North.
What are your plans for supporting children in Off Reserve?
Well, like I said, I'd like to form a new program, something similar to Jordan's Principle. It's a new program that needs to be structured from the ground up. We need to make this happen. We can do this in our community with donations and fundraising to do this for all of our kids, not just on reserve, because a lot of our hockey fans and basketball and boxing come from on and off reserve. It's nice to see it coming back home here, but I'd love to see Minegoziibe stars be out in the NBA and boxing rings in the NHL.
How are you going to create effective change for those fighting with addictions and those in mental health crisis?
Well, like I said, I'd like to open up our treatment center this year. That would be my goal. With the West Region Treaty 2, Treaty 4 Health Service Board, we just purchased a lot in McCurry, Manitoba for a treatment center. That's our goal. We're moving forward to open up a treatment center for all 7 communities. So it doesn't matter if you live in Ontario, in Alberta, you can utilize this treatment center that's going to be put there for our 7 communities.
If elected, do you agree to hold greater planning with the members right after the election, so the members have to stay and go out and all this forward together?
I do agree that we need to have more meetings. We need to start with a planning one, and then on the first year, relook at, make sure we're staying on track. We need to keep on with what the members are asking for, so we need to stay on track and have a yearly meeting.
Many of us offers are very connected to our family living there. And I would suggest asking offers our members to be part of the committees to get work policy developed. Example, housing, health.
Can you read it again? It doesn't make sense.
More comments. Many of us offers are very connected to our family living there. I would suggest asking officer members to be part of the committees to get work policies developed. Example, housing and health.
I agree. We need our officer members as well as everywhere here. We need at least a member from officer to represent all of the officer people that can't speak for themselves. Thank you.
On to the next councillor candidate, Kevin Burton. You have 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions following.
Hello.
those who need, we know my language class, obviously my gun. My given name is Kevin Curtin. My parents are Marlene Shortran, Joe Shortran. Gerald's my stepdad. They've been living here for over 30 years. I currently live off reserve. Sorry, I left my paper at home and I can't see without my other glasses. So I'm a proud father of 6 children. I have 3 grandchildren, 1 on the way. I grew up in Winnipeg, but my roots are here. My heart has always been here. And now I stand before you, humbly asking you for your support as I run for councillor. I'm not here to make a lot of promises. I'm here to speak from the heart. To talk with you, not at you. And to share the vision I carry, not for myself, but for all of us. Our nation is strong, but we know there are places where we've been stretched thin, places where we've been waiting, hoping, and sometimes feeling left out. I've been listening, I've been sitting at kitchen tables, and I've been hearing the same things over and over. So to let me speak to what I've heard and what I believe we can do together. First, our culture. That's where everything begins. It's in our language, in our land, and in the stories of our parents, grandparents, aunties, uncles, all told by the fire. I believe we need to make sure that every member, no matter where they live, can feel the connection. That means land-based learning, not just in Pine Creek, but in the city as well. That means bringing elders and English keepers together to guide us in person and on the phone or even online. That means gatherings that aren't just about ceremony, but also about laughter and song, because joy is part of our strength. Now let's talk about our youth, the future of our nation. I am not here to preach to them. I have walked some of the same roads. I know what it's like to get pulled in the wrong direction and to feel lost. To be someone who understands, I want to be that someone, not just a counselor, but a man who's lived it. We need more spaces for youth, places where they can feel safe, seen, and be proud. More mentorship, more programs, more care. Whether they're off reserve or on reserve, our youth deserve the best of us. When it comes to leadership, I believe in honesty and clarity. I'm not a politician. I'm a straight talker, and I believe members shouldn't be left guessing. I support regular updates, plain language communication, and sitting down with people to talk about things that matter, even if they're hard. That's how trust is built. I believe in trust is earned, not assumed. And I want to speak directly to off-reserve members. I grew up off-reserve, and I know what it feels like to connect to home, but I also feel like not being included. That needs to change. If I'm elected, I will make sure off-reserve members have more access to programs, cultural events, and real communication. We are just as much part of this nation as anyone else, and you deserve to be treated that way. Education is also a core part of my platform. I believe education should be rooted in who we are, not just in textbooks and classrooms, but land, language, and community. Whether it's early years, adult learning, or post-secondary, I'll support ways to help our people succeed while staying true to our ways. And lastly, housing. This is something I've heard more than anything else. Families wait for homes, elderly living in places that need repair, people feeling unsure about who to talk to. I don't place blame. I know the people that are doing the work are doing the best. But we need to strengthen the system. We need structure that works, communication that's clear, and maintenance that keeps our homes safe. Everyone deserves to feel secure in their lives. So that's what I carry with me in this campaign. Culture, youth, transparency, inclusion, education, and housing. Pardon? Okay.
So any questions in the house? Any house questions?
I don't understand, I don't know the whole situation, but I mean, for me as a parent, I probably would take it one step further and get the advice of a lawyer. And see, maybe policies need to be changed. Something, you know, we have to protect our children no matter what. So, big policies have to be changed, but like I said, I don't understand, I don't know the whole situation.
Okay, any more questions in the house? All right, so we got a couple from online. What are your plans for supporting children off reserve?
Off reserve children? Well, my vision is to have hubs, learning hubs, for some place that kids can just come. Like in the north end, there's churches that pick up kids and take them, and they do advance or whatever. Maybe we could do something like that, you know, get kids together, teach them like off land-based stuff like hunting, you know.
Now, are you going to create effective change for those fighting addictions and those in mental health crisis?
Again, you need more programming, something more for kids to do to keep their mind off of the streets, off of drugs, off of make them feel wanted, feel proud about themselves, you know. So
Therefore, would you agree to hold a 4-year planning meeting with the members right after the elections so the members have to say about how we all move forward together?
yeah, for sure. I agree. I would like for myself personally, like trying to get a hold of people sometimes is hard. I plan on my phone always being like always answering my phone, my emails to the best I can. So yeah, I'd rather see more than just, I'd rather have meetings every month.
Right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so we're gonna bring this step back and we're gonna call Councilor candidate Marian. Okay, you have 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions following.
Where do we talk? This one? This one? This one? No. Yeah, green. Hello. Oh, shoot, that's loud. Hello, band members, fellow people, Anishinabe. I am here finally. Had a heck of a time today, but strong willpower and strong people got me here today, which I'm thankful for. And I'd like to represent the community because I see a lot of our people sad. A lot of our elders, none of them have smiles on them. There's only those few. And a lot of them are hurting, and we have to help them. Our kids can't even associate with one another without damages being done amongst each other there. We need to reconnect. The word connection has been lost between all band members. Back in the day when I was growing up, we used to go wherever, biking, skidooing, we did everything. Every house we went to, we were all like family. And you know, today, we all still hold that connection. Even though we're all separated, we all grew up together, but we're all separated, but we always have that connection. And 2 years ago already, they asked me, why don't you stand up and run? You have a voice for your people. And I said, I will. One of these days, I said, whenever that time comes, because I used to campaign for people. I used to push people to vote for people. And I said to myself this term, I can't do that now. I think I gotta do it for myself. So that's what I was doing. I barely even got out of my truck. Just people looking at my truck. But now I drive around, vote pink, team pink, pink lady. That's all I hear when I go places. I was parked at the school for the trauma session, and all those little kids asked me to leave my truck there. They said, leave that truck here. It looks pretty here. And then every time I ran into them, hi pink truck lady, hi pink truck lady. And that respect that I get from all you guys are kids, yet I barely talk to parents here, but I get a lot of respect from kids, which is nice. And I smile. I say hi to them. I make them feel good about what they're doing. That's one thing we always have to do. And we can't judge because this person's working, that one's on welfare, this one comes from off reserve. We're all one nation. Everybody needs to be equal. And if I sit on council, I want to hear what the people want me to say, because I've always been you guys' voices, always. I'm loud, I will stand my ground, and I know right from wrong. I grew up a lot, ceremonial stuff. You don't see me doing that today. I'll do that only when it's called for. I have respect for my stuff. I'll never show it off in public just to wear it. That's just the way I was taught. Everybody else is taught different. I'm not saying you have to do that or anything, but that's just the way I was taught. This is who you see, and I'm all for the people. I've taught my family how to be strong. My brother went through a bad meth drug addict. He turned into one. And me being the big sister and my mom being there, I couldn't see my mom crying anymore. I didn't like that. So I got some help from him. I figured out how can I do this, whatever we did. We went along with it. And he come a long ways. He goes out and work now. Shamattawa. He just got off 90 days. He made some nice money for himself. And I'm so thankful that he can do that. All our people here have addictions. Don't be ashamed of yourselves. Don't. We all got to love one another. That's how we're going to get by. We need to learn love, connection. It's not all about politics. It's not all about band business. It's about what's going on here. We need stuff going on here for the people. Bingos, activities for the kids, swimming lessons, all that fun stuff we used to do when we were kids. Let's bring it back. An elder told me, we have to go back to our old ways. That's where you guys all lost connection. That's why you guys are all distant. That's why you guys all argue. He said, if you go back to the old ways, it won't be like that no more. Everybody will get along with everybody. It doesn't matter where they come from, what they do. Yeah. That issue won't ever come up again. That will make sure we deal with that. Doesn't happen with our kids. We were one of the people, I was one of the people that walked for that school, Frontier School Division. We walked for the safety of our kids and good education. We need to keep moving forward with that. Let's correct it. Let's heal that child that's hurting and that family. Everybody, we can't be judgmental. We all have to heal. And we gotta work with them, work together, and we'll get farther and farther. It's not all about moving forward with, that we moved too far. Everybody moves too far up there. It's the people that we didn't acknowledge yet. Because I see a lot of it. Even our employees, they're not happy. It should be a happy vibe place when we walk in there. Just like the way it was at the store when I worked there 5 years. Every one of you I serviced you, and I made sure everything was there for you when you came. And that's the way I will work. Whatever you guys ask for, that's what I will do. Because this is where I stand for you now. As a band member, I will continue to move forward for you guys. Good night. Good night, Nicole.
plans for supporting children off reserve?
You know what? There's solutions to supporting children off reserve. Where's the bingos? The bingos used to be a good revenue here for when people were struggling out there. You know what? I know people pay lots for hockey. I see it online. I see my friends doing it. But that's the best thing we can do is find solutions in the community to start making a little revenue somewhere. Because our people can connect by visiting a bingo like the way they did. We used to have bingo 7 days a week around here. Now we don't even have it.
How are you going to create effective change for those fighting addictions and those in mental health crisis?
Well, I've been dealing with mental addictions and mental health for the longest time, and you know what? I've talked to a lot of people around here that have that, and they have their issues. Where is our addictions place that we're supposed to have 4 years ago? Where's the 11 counselors that we were supposed to have teaching those people how to sober up and help them? You know what? 4 years has come by. How many people would we have saved already from addictions?
One more question collected. Would you agree to hold 4-year plan meeting with the members right after the election so the members have a say about how we all move forward together?
What I want to do is open up those doors for you people so you can all come in to sit in that meeting. No more locked doors. We have security here. They can stand at the door and check people. You know, and everybody needs to have a voice. When you voice, that's ideas for the table. And nobody's acknowledged you. And all I've been hearing is everything out there. But you know what? This is where we need to change. We need to change that. We all need to connect as a nation. All the candidates too, you guys are doing a good job. I'm hearing about you out there when I'm out there. They're asking. So that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
All right, you guys all have a good evening. Take care, stay safe. Love you all.
All right, so our next counselor candidate, Don McKay. You have 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions afterwards.
Testing. Good evening, Minegoziibe and Anishinabe people. My name is Brent McKay, for you that don't know me. I'm a member of Minegoziibe and Anishinabe. I lived here all my life. I also entered the workforce at the tender age of 16, and I've been working ever since. I came home to work at the band level for many years in housing and public works sectors. I also enjoyed playing hockey for many years with our local men's team, the Warriors. Anyways, I'm here to talk about good governance. My platform is straightforward: to implement our Hmong Constitution 2004, empowering our citizens. For far too long, we've been governed by the Indian Act, Section 74, where chief and councils are empowered by the federal government, thus been looked at as administrators, and that they are accountable to the federal government and not the people. The Hmong Constitution does the opposite. It takes the Hmong Council away from the administrative duties that our Hmong government structure and allows the Hmong administration staff to administer the affairs of our Hmong citizens. The Hmong government, as it will be known as, will follow the guidelines and principles defined within the Hmong Constitution. We, the citizens of Hmong, will eventually go looking at establishing our very own election code. Through the processes our ancestors used before the implementation of the Indian Act 1876, which, by the way, was arbitrarily inserted into our way of governing ourselves. This being said, 21 years ago, 2004, the Minegoziibe was passed. It was passed through a referendum dated May 27, 2004, and was signed off by Chief and Council of the day, dated May 31st, 2004. All right, you understand where I'm going with this? There was 4 governance documents were presented to the members of the First Nation to either accept or not accept. Number 1, the Constitution was passed. Number 2, the election code did not pass. 3, the membership code passed. And the last and final one, 4, the finance and administration code passed. Our present younger generation, who are 21 years or younger and who are voting age now, wouldn't even know or have an idea or clue what the Mall Constitution document is and what it stands for. That's because they weren't even born yet. Okay? That's because, many of our older people who were around at the time have either passed on to the spirit world or may have moved away for health reasons. That leaves not too many people who are also 21 years older who still reside on our reserve and who would probably be familiar and still recognize what this law document pertains to and the reason behind it. A lot has changed in the last 21 years. Let's not waste another 21 years to implement our way of governing our citizens. Okay? At the state we're in, governance-wise, I'm quite familiar with some of the programs within our First Nation. This includes the housing sector, the public works sector, the economic development sector, and also our identity as Anishinaabe people. I've been fortunate to have worked alongside so many people who work in these program sectors. In order for our programs to run efficiently, we must get the political interference away from the administrative part of the programs, classified as departments under the Indian Act, and start the process of forming authorities within each program, classified as separate entities under the Mall Constitution, with different. I was just getting to the good part. But anyway, they'll have different title names.
Any questions? Else?
Well, as a counselor, I guess, if elected, I would look at the agreement the First Nation has with Frontier and what it states in that agreement for Frontier's responsibilities of being on our territory. So that being said, Pine Creek is the contractor and Frontier would be the recipient, I guess, in other words. And what's the Frontier's policy on regards to that kind of stuff? And what does Pine Creek have to that kind of stuff? What I mean is policies. So that being said, we're going to match apples with apples or apples with oranges. And we'll find out who is the ultimate power, which is the Pine Creek First Nation. That's all I don't probably look at it.
Anyone else? Okay. For social clients with mental health issues, how do you plan on really advocate for them?
Well, first of all, I guess like I said, you want to take politics away from the administration of the First Nation. And if we do with the Mall Constitution, I'd probably target is, and why, the question was,
For social compliance of mental health issues, how do you plan on working advocate for them?
yeah, I would probably talk with this and ask him which direction the person needs to do that issue, whether it's this problem or a health issue. Oh, sorry.
Okay. What are your plans for supporting children officers?
Well, the main thing, I guess, is because the people are going to be pretty well empowered, they can have ideas to shoot at the council, which is the ultimate government, and they go from there and see where they can go outside the community to actually look for allocating dollars for those kind of purposes.
If elected, would you agree to hold a planning meeting with the members right after the election? So the members have a say about how we move forward together.
Okay, the law constitution, I think, refers to that kind of scenario with regards to financing. So we probably have to look into further to the law constitution. But like I said, I was going to get to the good stuff here that the law constitution doesn't have. But I can make copies and you guys can read the rest of it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to take a 10-minute break.
Good evening, welcome. Nice to see a lot of people here. Hi, officer as well. With over 30 years experience working in band administration and other areas as well, I see and notice the areas we need to improve on. I want to ensure we have better governance administration, to create an open door policy where members and employees feel valued for their opinions and concerns, to have quarterly meetings with the members on our finances, on education and awareness on treaty and inherent rights, the Indian Act, the, the Financial Transparency Act, and on DRIP, United Nations Declaration of Rights of Indigenous People and our MAR governance. To have notices out when chief and council have meetings and have the portfolios report on what they are working on for the betterment of the people. We need to bring in external organizations like West Region Tribal Council, West Region Tribal Council Health Department, and Frontier to come and present to our community on the funding and services they provide to our membership. To increase transparency and accountability with a review of all programs and services and share to the membership. Increase communication with old school newsletter. Have our radio station up and going to have open discussions and notices aired. We need to provide our members with an employee resource listing and contact information, as well as for officer resource office to include in the planning. Food sovereignty, we need some greenhouses, a variety of gardens, canning workshops, medicine picking, For food security, we need to establish a food bank, a cooler system for wild game, fish plant and meat processing plant. Transportation, I noticed that other First Nations have those great big Greyhound buses. So we need to go through a proposal process to have that in place. We need to provide this type of transportation to our membership. We can plan trips for elders, youth, and membership to gatherings away from the community. We need an emergency vehicle available 24/7, and we need to promote a taxi business and all banned businesses. For social, we need to put a plan in place for our vulnerable people with mental health issues and addictions. We need to advocate for an increase in the income assistance program. We need to advocate and assist grandparents who have grandchildren under their care. We need to enforce our drug and alcohol bylaw, our animal bylaw, our recycling program. We need to include our membership in the decision-making of a healthier community. We need our own treatment facility to cater to membership requesting help. We need more feedback from the members about healing initiatives. We need to treat our two-spirited members with respect, dignity, and compassion. We need more initiatives, and a variety of recreational activities need to take place. For example, music, arts, dance, soccer. There was a time when baseball was a big thing in our community. Our elders need to be included in the decision-making process. A committee of elders need to be established with the knowledge keepers as well. As youth committee, we need to put back in place our youth chief and council. We have a beautiful lake we can use for tourism and active tour boats, a marina, a restaurant, a secured spot for campers and trailers. We need a gravel yard, a bigger compound maintenance yard, a bigger septic stations. We need our buildings renovated, like our admin building, and simple things like garbage boxes. A secured spot for bigger and better playground, an outdoor rink, a recreation facility. These are the things I would like to work on with your involvement. I am not running to administer programs. I'm running to enhance, advocate, and improve. Let's do better. Vote Charlene Flatoot.
Thank you. Any questions from the house?
Hi, Nicole. When I was made aware of the incident that happened at the school, I was quite concerned. Like, why wasn't a meeting established immediately with those involved to sit down and discuss what happened, what took place, and how can we do better with our students at the school? Like, a lot of times I had children bullied there. I had children come home crying. And I went to the school. I addressed them immediately. We had such a good principal, Cynthia McKay, may she rest in peace. But she was admirable. She dealt with things immediately and with compassion and with love. And we need to bring that back in our school.
Any more questions?
I do. But in the past, I heard that Minegoziibe used our stats numbers in this region. That's why they were able to get a hospital and ambulance service in that area. But we could, like I said, provide an emergency medical vehicle with trained staff. Yes. I agree. I agree with you, Dave. We can even have an emergency vehicle on standby. Why does it have to be an ambulance? Well, that's something we need to work on.
And from online, what are your plans for supporting children officers?
Children of Reserve, we need to establish a committee of like elders. Like elders know what our people need. People go to elders and tell them what they need. And if we could put that in place, I'm sure we could come up with a lot of ideas.
How are you going to create effective change for those fighting with addictions and those in mental health crisis?
Again, like I said, we need to put a plan in place for our vulnerable people with mental health issues and addictions. I see people walking up and down the road. I see family crisis from one day to another. We need to establish a committee or a plan of people that could attend to these emergencies as needed and then in a timely manner.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Come on. Come on. Okay.
If elected, would you hold for your planning meeting with the members right after the election, so the members have to stay and vote, how long move forward together?
For sure. That's something I would like to see, and it goes hand in hand with transparency and accountability. Thank you.
Right. Our next councilor amendment, Don McKay. Now, I have next to your speech and five members to come.
Hello, this is Anishinabe, Councillor Don Sharper, and for those of you online, if you don't know me, my name is Councillor Don Sharper, and I've been a proud member of Minegoziibe pretty much all my life. Grew up in Campo, and then moved to First Nation. I've been a councillor here, and I was elected in 2017. What inspired me in 2017 was food storage. I seen our community suffering real bad and things weren't running right. So I thought if I could make a change and get elected and, and I'm pretty sure that's what has been done. My first term, I had a very knowledgeable and well-educated chief, Karen Batson. And then my next term there in 2021 to now, Derek Nepinak, well-educated and knowledgeable chief. Couldn't ask for better. So to say me wedge, Derek, for everything you've done, and the rest of our council, and that has been here with me for the last 8 years. Thank you for everything you've done. I'd also like to say, Derek mentioned this about consensus. Every request that comes through the band is got to be approved by quorum. So by us, consensus, pretty much all forward and the chief, we're all, consensus on all requests, sports and rec, our youth, our health, housing and everything. So I'm gonna continue if re-elected, I'm gonna continue what I've been doing. I've been in the housing portfolio for these last 8 years. I know what funding we receive yearly and how many houses we did, like 30, maybe not 30, but 20, in the 20, 28, 20, something like that, houses, subsidy and CMHC. We're limited to funding, and in the funding we receive is for on reserve only. So if we're gonna, look at providing housing for off-reserve members, so we have to maybe through own source dollars, that would be the only way. So I'd also like to get our create the board for our our ag claim, the interest revenue that's coming to the community from that claim, I'd like to create that board ASAP if we're elected, so they can make the decisions on where the funds that money is going to, education, housing, and youth, sports, and rec. Not council. Council, be an arm's length away from that. But I'd like to have a member from Pine Creek, Dauphin, Winnipeg, Brandon, one from each town that'll make the decision where the funds will be going for that. And, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. I support every request and that comes in for our youth, sports and rec and everything. And create the housing board, housing authority board. Council, chief and council here have been accused of being biased and I don't know what word, I haven't made no decision on part of my family members. I accuse myself from those decisions if it comes to a member. Council will look after that on their own. So, yeah, I'd just like to thank you all for allowing me to be a council for the community here and for the last 8 years, and I'm looking forward to the next 4 years. And we watch.
Any questions in the house?
I'd like to, I've been a part of that issue with Diamond and her month ago. Terrible, otherwise known as well. I've been right from the first meeting I attended at the school, and I did express my concerns. I told Tyson McGilvery, he's the superintendent for Frontier now, that should have been an external investigation due to the fact of the issue of that. Well, I'm kind of lost for words here. That incident. And I guess it was done internally. I don't know. It's still it must be still in the process, I guess. We haven't heard back from Tyson. Chief and council, we're in a couple of meetings with him. We did advocate on behalf of Daniel. We asked Frontier to rescind that decision that was made for Daniel not to attend that trip. So I've been a part of that discussion right from day one, pretty much.
Okay. Anyone has questions? Alright, so for online, for social clients with mental health issues, how do you plan or will you advocate for them?
What's that?
For social clients.
Social clients.
Yeah, with mental health issues, how do you plan or will you advocate for them?
I know that's a hard question to answer. We have been advocating on behalf of environmental client, social clients in the reserve, trying to create little jobs for them here and there. I do hire a few of them at the garden. That's another thing I forgot to mention is the community garden we're organizing each year. So I do hire them there, give them a little bit of employment. I know how to also works with them, checking on them daily. So, yeah.
Would you agree to hold further planning with members right after the election? So members have to say about how we move forward together.
Yeah, sure. So that's one thing I'd like to have here is in housing, I'd like to have quarterly meetings or monthly meetings, whatever. Start off monthly and then maybe quarterly with the members in the community hall we have here now. And that moving forward, I'd like to have that. And also with the members about band business and our list also mentioned there that our BCRs, our council meeting minutes are all public knowledge. They're all at the band office. So if anybody wants to know the BCRs or see the BCRs, the minutes, they're all there.
Okay, thank you.
All right. You go. Well, dance for you first.
Our next councilor candidate, Jason Charlene. 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions afterwards.
Could you hear me clear enough? Or do we not turn on? Now, can you hear me clear? Well, the reason I wanted to run for council was the first time was, we've seen our reserve these last 4 years, and a lot of us have talked and sound like a lot of complaining that we want change, but there's got to be some change that's coming, and hopefully it does come. What really made me want to run though this time is that letter that was given to elders. That letter that wanted them to pay rent, and I don't think they should be paying rent. They should be given help, to offset some bills for them, because it's a hard time with elders, especially they're the ones that suffered long enough that for us to keep our identity, for us to keep our language, and here we want them to pay, but that's not right. I don't think so. Something to do for the elders is help them with their bills, help them with anything they need, because you go into some of these elders, their houses, and none of them have been renovated. 30 years, there's houses that have been in the reserve for 30 years that haven't even been touched. So with that, there's my biggest thing is for the elders. So another thing too, security. Like I said, if people building this SECO, they brought in illegal immigrants. So, and nobody said nothing. They stopped the guy with no work visa, no reason to be in Canada. And the East Indian, and the whole stigma that the East Indian has. We have so much vulnerable people here that the young girl that keeps walking down the road easily could have been picked up. Security-wise is a big thing, the homicides that happen, the rise in drugs and the rise in the crime, thefts. It's all got to be handled. Another thing too is for our housing, I think we need a construction crew. Say 8 guys we got a lot of good people that are good carpenters, a lot of good people that are good tradesmen that are overlooked. When we all go out to work, we're treated good, by the Munya. We're valued. And here, when we come to Pine Creek to work, we're undervalued, we're not valued, overlooked. There's carpenters that go up north and make $50 an hour. But here we're left with favoritism and, who's who gets picked is what it is. I'm sure some people ain't family, so they're overlooked. But like I said, we have a lot of good people here that know how to build houses, fix things, day-to-day stuff. If we had a construction company, a construction crew to build our own houses so that they could have money instead of going out of town, and it's hard leaving your family all the time. And that, it's not easy, but you still got to do it. And the whole thing about favoritism, it sucks seeing all our members that had jobs pushed away, and now depression sets in and they turn to drugs It's real shitty to see, so. But like for on reserve and off reserve, like we're all the same, so I don't, we're supposed to be all the same, we're supposed to be unified, and we're so divided, and, you know, it's hard to make decisions, I guess, but like there's so much more, like I wrote it down, but I just said, I'll just talk about it as I go. 1 second here, just to get up here and lose train of thought. Like finances too, like I wish we could have an actual audit instead of the audit that was presented at the AGM was you started here, this is what you started with, and this is what you finished with. There was nothing in between, like no guts to the thing. Like, so how the hell are we supposed to know where everything went? You know, I don't want to end up like scowling in 10 years and say, where did the money go? We talk about investors. Who are we investing in? Does anybody know what we're invested in? They say we have an obligation to bankers and these people and this people. What about the obligation to Pine Creek members? You know? Okay.
Any questions in the house?
Yeah. Well, it's the same way like Don said, it should have been like an independent investigation, someone from outside to come in. Because that's not right. Like, we know that's not right. Sexual harassment is sexual harassment. You know, it's sad that your daughter had to miss that trip. And it really did seem like nobody cared. So, but going forward with that, like you got to build awareness. And maybe educate people when they elected, when they're hired. Because, like, you know, they develop policy as they go along as they see fit to fit their needs. So why can't we develop? I know Frontier must have a policy. So.
Okay, and then online. What are your plans for supporting children off reserve?
Well, we find them funding and like get someone to write. There's got to be proposals that can be written and find funding for it, because there's a lot of kids out there that are good in sports, good in everything. Like, but how do we do it? Is we got to find the funding first. And
how are you going to create effective change for those fighting with addictions and those in mental health crisis?
well, they purchased how many buildings and you know, and sent how much people to school for that, and we didn't utilize any one of them. Not one of them we used, you know, and like the building over there is sitting empty. All those little shacks are sitting empty. Like there's nothing for the people that walk by that are all messed up. Like Will Gordy and Riley stop at my house all the time, you know, give them what they like, a bag of chips or a drink to get them going and talk to them, you know. It's the whole community that needs to help, you know. It's not just the band, I got a chief and council, but the whole community needs to help out.
If elected, would you agree to hold a 4-year planning meeting with the members of the election, so the members have a say about how we move forward together?
But that I think that the people should always be consulted with. You know, we bought a building in Winnipeg, 25 million, that nobody was consulted with. A meeting like this should have happened before anything like that. Like before every big decision, I think the people need to be involved. Not only on reserve, but off reserve as well.
All right, we have Councilor Charlene, Napu. You have 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions following.
Is it done? Nope. Nope. I was gonna wing it today, and my boy said, "No, that you can't just wing it." He said, "You gotta write it down." So that's what I did. A lot of you know me here and online, everywhere. I talked to probably every single one of you guys during the Cows and Plows claim multiple times. I don't know why I'm nervous, but I am. My name is Napu. I'm running for a position for councilor here at Pine Creek. Minegoziibe. I'll always call it Pine Creek because when I see somebody out of town, where are you from? Minegoziibe. Well, where's that? Pine Creek. I said, okay, now I know where that is. First off, I'd like to acknowledge Chief and Council from the past 4 years. Chief Nepinak, Councilor Don, Angela, Cindy, and Harley for giving me the opportunity to work for our reserve. I didn't get that chance when I first moved back. I couldn't even get a job, but they believed in me. You know, as I started off working as land claims coordinator, and after a few months, I took over as registry clerk. And in 17 months of registry, I boosted our band list of 1,400 people that have been waiting for their status. I did a lot of research for the ones who've been fighting for years, even the ones who I got denied and they were eligible. No, I don't want to do it. Give me your stuff, I said, and you'll have your status. And that's what I did. I argued with the workers, because they deserve to have that number. They lived on your reserve here, most of them, for their whole life. I helped our elders with no extra pay during residential forums, doing their day school forums, when they would come see me. I didn't turn away, no matter how busy I was, I always made time for them. Whether it be in the office or at home, I always kept my home open on weekends, nights, for our officer members who would come visit their families. So there's a couple things that I would like to see done, especially one of our band members who recently moved back, Ron Chartrand. He has a sports initiative for kids, for our youth. I'd like to see anybody elected 100% help this guy. I seen how successful it was from the beginning here at Winnipeg when he first started off. He was successful. I'd also like to see him build like our own boat ramp. That old road going towards Duck Bay, where our old bridge was built, burned down. Why can't we have our own boat ramp where we gotta go to Riverside? Well, why? We should have one in our community. Or go to Duck Bay and use theirs. A lot of people don't want to go and be a bother. We should have our own here. And our housing, I'd like to see the older houses, our elders' houses, they need to be renovated like Jason said. A lot of them are old, their pumps are old, they're flooding, they're backing up. Well, why? At least change their pumps so they don't. I don't. And our community hunt, I'd like to see more than one community hunt. A lot of our elders eat deer, duck, goose, geese, but they only have one hunt that lasts a week. And what happened to that meat last year? I don't know. I asked for a couple chunks of meat for some elders and I was turned away. That shouldn't have happened. But like I said, I'm willing to work. I did it for our community already. I didn't turn anybody away. My office was always open. My house was always open. When I went to Winnipeg for my medicals, I met family, I met members all over on my time. No overtime. I just did it. Sorry, I'm a little bit shaky. Oh, I'm done. Okay. Thanks you guys. Sorry. My house is open. I'm coming off.
So do we have any questions in the house? So online, if my kids want to do sports and other stuff, what do you help offers her?
Well, like when Don was talking about the interest of the building up through that claim money, that's the kids' money anyways. So why can't they use a little bit of put it to the side of their interest, help them, put them into their sports, maybe rent wheelies or something for the day for our members. Have a barbecue or something, just you know, bring baseball bats, gloves, let them play around, footballs. Have a day for them. Doesn't have to be just that treaty day. We can have it any other time.
How are we going to create effective change for those fighting addictions and those in mental health crises?
Well, they purchased that Caberdons. We can bring in, uh, we could bring in or utilize the ones who graduated from that course and for a week, take the ones that want help, set them over there.
I feel like you know, 4-year plan with the members right after the elections and the members of the city about how we will work together.
Yes, it can be any time. More 1 year, like somebody said, 6 months. It doesn't matter. Like we're for the people. That's why we're elected. You shouldn't have to let them not know what's going on. I didn't know we purchased this building, but I had no idea. But we did, and it's a good investment.
Any more questions?
What happened to that is, Robin, everybody that works for Minegoziibe, we're in a policy at the band level. Frontier should be included in that, the school. Random drug tests, whatever it is, whatever it may be, they should be helped with them as well. They are on our land too, so why are they excluded from it? All right, thank you guys.
All right, let's the chief candidate, Charlene Bushy. You have 5 minutes for the speech and 5 minutes for questions following.
First of all, I want to acknowledge membership of Pine Creek First Nations. I won't say off reserve because there's no such thing. My name is Charlie Bushy, former chief of Pine Creek First Nations. Also in council for 8 years, so I serve my people. 14 years here in Pine Creek. I want to thank them for allowing me, giving me the privilege to speak and stand for every one of you. Certainly, I want to acknowledge the chief for his words. Many of the candidates, good speeches. But what I want to say is, who are we? When I first came here and the late Marvin McKay offered me to come to live in Pine Creek, Clifford was the chief, of course, Joe McKay. There was only 700 people registered in Pine Creek at that time. Currently, because of the Indian Act policy, there's only 1,000 people registered in Pine Creek. Now that there's 5,600 is what I understand. And what are we going to do about it? If I'm elected as chief, work with my council, I'm going to file a court injunction immediately against the federal government. Why is it only time of elections our membership are only able to vote? Where is the service and program dollars? We need to make the federal government accountable. And of course, doing my homework, I find that majority of the money goes to the profits through transfer payments on an annual basis without no transparencies and accountabilities. And we allow that? No way. For me, I would propose that many of the members living in Duck Bay and also Camperville, we could create their own reserves there. Why do we beg to them, come and vote for me? No. When we were denied our identity since day one. Bill C-31, 1985 is when I became the opportunity to become a member of Pine Creek. You know, I was deprived that right since I was born. I should have been born status and not called Bill C-31. You see what happened since then. Duck Bay is where I come from. That reserve was taken away. And also, the identity of the Anishinabes, my grandfathers and my grandmothers, they were deprived their rights to be a member, not applying for this status later. Each and one of us coming from Winnipeg, Dawson, everybody should have been born status right from day one. And no disrespect to my brother, David Chartra, MMF. I believe there's no such thing. And he could come and talk to me about that. Okay.
Any questions? In-house, almost not a question. Have you heard it? Or?
Yeah. I know the issue. Not acceptable. That person, no disrespect to the white man, should have been gone out with administration leave until this is settled. This is not acceptable here in Pine Creek First Nations. Nobody is gonna tell me, including Frontier System, they're gonna tell me if I'm the chief what happens. It'll be up to the membership. We should be developing our own constitution, getting rid of this Indian Act system that doesn't work, that dictates. We have to ask and beg here in our own land? No way. I will speak for your daughter till it's put to rest. None of that here. Miigwech.
So, any more questions anybody has?
I need that guy on the microphone. Tell him to learn to use the microphone. Yes, ma'am. Can somebody repeat the?
Opinions or assistance or anything, but it was all get back to it. That might for you and I. You would always find I need everything. Like the part that you can like is the part where you can go on anywhere you want and get started. But the band that's going to pay for all the people relocating that they're doing wrong. And why do you do this for people that have to pay for their mistakes?
Ask Derek Nepinak, did the band pay for my legal case? No? He only came to me one time about Bill C-31 housing.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, there was a lot I can keep not like I fished all my life. I've always tried to get an outfit and I've always used that time with this to help the fishermen. But it was always like you don't live here, like where I was died, like he never did that from fishing from 19 whatsoever. And that was even hard promises that you make your fishermen.
No, I helped out the fishermen. $1,000 each. Yeah.
That I can tell you that.
Yes.
That's been my family for many years. And how many times they asked me to help them prepare their food.
You took 10 minutes.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Ready?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So if you get it for G, I heard this from a couple of numbers now. You're offering 20 to 30,000 for the housing funding that's investment.
What's that?
You're offering members 10 to 30,000 from the money that's sitting in trust from the eggplant.
I'm offering. No. Well, what's happening right now is you are not honoring students that are entitled. You're not answering them. Where's their 30,000? Students out there that just turned 18. No, I know a few people that used an honor. This council been honored.
Okay, so the next councillor candidate, Anishinabe. We have 5 minutes for your speech, and 5 minutes for questions afterwards.
Brothers and sisters, whoa, start over. Brothers and sisters of Minegoziibe, today I stand before you with pride, with gratitude, and with a vision. A vision of a Minegoziibe as self-sufficient, strong, and thriving. A nation that no longer depends on outside support to meet our needs, but one that leads economically, socially, and culturally. A nation where our roots run deep and our branches reach higher than ever before. When you look around our community, you can see signs of progress, new housing, new buildings, new infrastructure, arena upgrades, our fighters growing stronger, the flame, the spirit, our people is burning brighter than ever. But this is only the beginning. Imagine a Minegoziibe built on a foundation of true financial sustainability, a community where our programs and services are secure, where families can rely on steady support, and where opportunities are created from within. That kind of a future means jobs, sustainability, and the power to make decisions that reflect our values, not someone else's priorities. And this isn't just a dream, it's the direction we're already headed. Our gas bar in Dauphin is nearing completion, and council has made important real estate investments that will generate long-term income for our nation. There are more than projects. These are steps towards lasting prosperity and self-resilience. It will take time, commitment, and unity, but we are closer than we have ever been. To get there, we must stay the course. We cannot afford to slow down, look back, or divide ourselves. This election is more than a vote. It's a turning point, a moment to decide the kind of future we leave for the next 7 generations. That's why I'm asking all members, whether you live here in the community, the urban areas, the city, no matter where you live, to come together as one nation, one people. Let's set aside our differences and make decisions that serve the future of our beautiful Minegoziibe. Education and recreation have always been pillars of that future. They lift up our youth, open doors to scholarships, and shape the next generation of strong, healthy leaders. We will continue to invest in our youth, care for our elders, support health and wellness, build new infrastructure and housing, and expand our economic development, because our strength lies in unity and shared prosperity. We are strong, we are capable. The spirit of our ancestors live on in us. In our blood memory, we are all still warriors, all of us. And together we will build a Minegoziibe they dreamed of, and one that our grandchildren will be proud to inherit. Miigwech, let's keep moving forward together, all of us.
Any questions in the audience? There's one right there.
Do you have a vision for fitness and transportation for you?
Fitness and transportation. Well, we'll start with the fitness. If I'm re-elected, I'd like to have a fitness center built in the community that will be home to our boxing club and all community members, especially our youth who are, some who face diabetes and different things like that. This will help us build a stronger future for our kids and a home for our boxing club. I think that's what we need. And then as the transportation part of this, I've been working on it's called the Rural Transit Initiative. And this is something that's been approved to start a business plan and to get a transit bus and vans that will take our members, take our hockey teams, fit for different programs could use it. And it would have a bus route from here to Winnipeg, here to Brandon, and wherever we could think of. And that'll be our own, and it will go towards our economic development. That'll be a funding source for different things, and it could be used for all of our members. No matter where you live, if you can access it, it will be there for you.
Are you going to help out the kids that are off the reserve as well, that want to go to the hockey programs, that want to go to the baseball, football, and all that? You're talking about sports and recreation now. So let's talk about you. Last year, my organization that I have, I sponsored 4 kids because they're from country. They couldn't get that year. So are you guys going to help them? Or does my organization have to help out again?
I could speak from what I know, we help a lot of kids and we will help. We always try our best to help kids. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here. We're all members of this community. It doesn't matter where you live. If a kid wants something and they ask for help, I'm going to try help them. That's my promise to the members of this community. I'll help any kid I can, or I'll try my best to help them. That's who I am. I help who I can. I didn't hear that. What?
I've been reading about everything there from the youth program. Are you the young advocates that are telling you the budget for mine? You guys wouldn't be here.
Well, that post you're talking about, that's not true. That's not why I'm here. I would never do that to our kids. I know what you're referring to. Even if I wasn't on council, I would still coach kids. It's not about the money. It's not about anything like that. Before I came here, I had a job that I made 3 times the money working as a counselor. So it's definitely not about that. I'm here for the kids and it's from my heart. Not for no one reason. I'll always be for the children, no matter what. Just like your daughter. I spoke up for your daughter, and I promise you that I did. Because when I was a young kid, I was in grade 2. I had a problem with a teacher that shook me up, and they shouldn't have done that. So it hit me in my heart when anything like that happens. So I'll always stand up, and I did.
Any more questions? Okay, so I'll ask you one for one.
Okay.
How are you going to create effective change for those fighting also with addictions and those in mental health crisis?
With addictions and mental health crisis, from what I've seen, people have to want the help. You can't force people to do something they don't want to do. But with that being said, when people come out to ask for help, we have to work towards having somewhere to send them. We have to have somewhere to put them, and that's a good example with our lodge we have down there. That's always a possibility. And if we find funding, we can do it. We work towards it, we'll get there. We are going to get there one of these days. It's not far off. We'll help our members.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Minegoziibe. Good luck with the next 4 years.
Up next for Councillor candidate Bert Richard Sonny. 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions afterwards.
Hello, everyone. My name is Brent Richard. I'm a candidate here in Pine Creek for the upcoming council position. I want to start it off by just speaking to you all directly. I didn't want to come up here and tell you guys a bunch of lies and promises that I can't keep. I started working at a very young age. I worked pretty much right across Canada. Back then, that's what we had to do to help our parents pay bills and put food on the table. I made a lot of sacrifices leaving home 32 years ago and going out and leaving my community, and most importantly, my family and friends. For the last 14 months, I was the public works manager and got a lot accomplished maintaining the trucks to get them safe for the roads and mulching and grass cutting for a cleaner community, but also safer for the kids and fire purposes. If elected as one of your councilors, I would like to see the heavy equipment training back here to get more women and men trained and certified right here at home, so they can work on our roads, homes, and other projects going on. Also a fish shed for the 3 communities, so our fall and winter fishermen don't have to haul all their fish to Minegoziibe, put in gas and get there, and sometimes the doors are locked and you have to bring it back home here. I already reached out to Councillor Frisco Patchway and SKO. I still have to meet up with him to get some more detail and info on what it takes to get a facility up and running in our community. With a growing community and still going to grow for housing, I think it would be good to have one of our red seal carpenters inspect homes. A lot of these problems that we have here are small and they're never looked at and become big problems and expensive as well. I think even another certified plumber, the community is growing. We could possibly even use more drivers for water delivery with more houses coming up as well. I would also like to see a gated playground for the kids along Minegoziibe Way to keep dogs out and let kids be kids and play. There's a lot of kids growing up in that area. Another topic that was brought up was prices of food and goods at the store here. I think purchasing our own box truck, like I used to work at McKay's Grocery, and it's the freight that makes the cost of everything high. I think by getting our own box truck and seeking these food places where we can get meals and picking up our own food instead of paying all this freight, and like our people that are on just in general have to pay these high prices when we could bring that cost down by getting it ourselves. It's kind of dark in here too. People that don't have vehicles to go to town have to shop at the store and will get a little more for their money. These are the things I know I can do with other 6 leaders. I didn't want to come up here and say I will do this, I will do that, because you all know in reality at the end of the day, there's no I in team. There's going to be 6 councillors and a chief, and that makes a team. I look forward to working with the new team and help make good choices and decisions to move our community forward. My door will always be open to listen to your opinions, your thoughts, and most importantly, your voice. I promise to be at work every day. I don't believe in the band members voting for people like us to sit at home. I promise to continue working hard for everyone on and off reserve that's registered to Bank 282. So come June 10th, I'm asking for your support and your vote.
Any questions in house? Next question.
I think with that situation there, that should have been like, I think the law should have been involved in that situation. At the end of the day, that child is from Pine Creek. She's from Bank 282. I mean, this shouldn't have been just done by the school and that's pretty much it. Really, it should have been investigated by the law, I think. With something like that happening to a child, that should have been investigated a lot more.
Any more questions? So there's like online questions.
Yeah.
How are you going to create effective change for those fighting with addictions and those with mental health crisis?
Well, I think we need to advocate a full-time mental health worker here, not somebody who's just stopping by once a week or twice a week, just to have a full-time worker here to help with that issue right there.
And what are your plans for supporting children off reserve?
Well, we got a lot of land in Dawson. Why don't we create businesses to help support these off-reserve kids in many ways, like a lot of them are sports. Some of that funding could go towards off-reserve children to so they could continue doing what they love to do too.
How do you plan to work with federal funders to increase funding for programs?
I would go through research and mainly like I would think building relationships with funding programs, and you'd have to just do a lot more research with that as well.
Thank you. So I'd like to call our next councillor standing up, Councillor McKay. You've got 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions afterwards.
Ah, bonjour. Oh, yeah. Testing. Ah, bonjour. Well, excuse me, stand up, get down on your knees and pass my word right here. I'd like to thank the community members for coming out tonight, and also Chief and Council that represented us for the last 4 years. I think they did a wonderful job. My name is Arthur McKay, born and raised Pine Creek. Lived there all my life, 60 years. And I've seen Pine Creek grow as a community. A lot of wonderful work was done by previous leaders, and I think we could still do a lot better for our community members. I just got back. I went to Bertel. I just walked in a couple of minutes ago. I went to let my son at work and apologize to the candidates. I would have liked to have been here to listen to all their speeches. But I got a couple pages of stuff here in the back here if people want some what I'm looking to do for the community. And one of them was the economic part. You know, Pine Creek bought a lot of buildings off reserve, and you know, which is a great thing for Pine Creek. I think that's what we need to continue to do is investing our money. You know, and And that's how we're going to create the largest revenue that we need for projects in the community, and helping the younger generation, the elders, and the community members off and on reserve. I used to be one of the bad people thinking about off reserve all the time, but over time that view has changed for me, working in policing for 30 years and corrections for 6. My last campaign, I used a lot of my traditional teachings. I run my own lodge. I was gifted a lodge. And I practice that today, every day. I go out. I take a lot of our young men that are struggling with mental health issues and young ladies for various communities. I go out pretty much 3 or 4 times a week to Wayway, the Paw, Rolling River, Pine Creek. So I take people all over with me. And I'm doing all this out of pocket. I don't have a funding source right now. Next week, I'm going to take a group of men to Regina for a men's group, a men's gathering. I'm doing a teaching on there for spirits. I was gifted the teaching on the spirits of alcohol, suicide, depression, jealousy. So I'm taking that to Regina. And I just finished off a round dance up in OCN. I did the round dance for the last couple of years for the men's gathering up in Saskatoon, Rolling River. So I do a lot of functions for men and women, and I'd like to start doing that here in Pine Creek, make use of that lodge that Pine Creek purchased up by Don McKay's. We talk about helping our people, and I think that's one thing we need to do is start getting everybody involved in our community with traditional and modern healing, to make it a better place to live. When I first came back here about a month ago, I was on the road, came to Pine Creek, and then I sat over here across the old power ground looking at our community because a lot of our medicines are over there. So I was going to check and see if they were ready. Looking at Pine Creek, how it's grown in a good way. We talk about our elders, our kids. I think we need to do a lot more for our elders and our kids that are dealing with a lot of issues, because I went through that with Frontier. My granddaughter has Down syndrome, and she did not receive any help from Jordan's principal and Frontier. I was given the runaround, and that's one of the things I want to change, is to make sure every kid is looked at and treated fairly. I'll be good.
Any questions again? Nicole's question. Are you aware?
Well, what we should do as a community, we have to believe in our children, no matter what. If somebody's making accusations, we have to stick to the child that's making these accusations until there's an investigation done. Because, like I said, I worked in 36 years in corrections and policing, and a lot of times, if you're a different color, then they seem to choose that other color is right. If that kid has something wrong, we should believe them no matter what until that it's proven in court. Or we should have our own justice forum here in Pine Creek. You know, have the elders, chief and council, some students sit in a circle here, our own justice system. And then we decide, because probably what's going to happen, Pine Creek is probably going to get sued again anyway by somebody that's not living on the reserve. And you know, I'm sorry that happened to your daughter, you know, and anybody else that's facing that kind of we should be behind 100%. I hope that, you know, if I'm elected, you know, that's my stand is going to be help the children.
Any more questions? Couple questions from online. What are your plans for supporting children off reserve?
Well, for me, like I said, I've worked off reserve for the last 5 years and moved to different activities. I think we need to invest on off and reserve for that everybody's treated fair. You know, whether it's basketball, swimming, track and field, soccer, rugby. We need to look at treating everybody equally off reserve. That everybody, not everybody's a hockey player or basketball player, so we need to treat everybody, every sport, fair.
And how do you plan to work with federal funders to increase funding for programs?
Well, I think we need to do a lot of lobbying. I think we need to go to Winnipeg and, you know, take the gloves off and bring out the signs, take our people out there to start doing demonstrations. And, you know, I think as First Nations, we always try to go there with always giving in. You know, I think we need to, like I said, we have protests and demonstrations more to increase our fundings for a lot of the programs that are underfunded in the community.
Thank you.
Minegoziibe. So I'll be in the back. I got my papers there if you guys want to look at it.
For our next councilor candidate, Cindy Gallo-McKay. We have 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions afterwards.
Testing. Testing. Good evening, Minegoziibe Anishinabe leadership and candidates. Welcome. My leadership style has always been about teamwork, inclusiveness, fairness, honesty, and integrity. I will carry on this way and believe these are important traits to have as a leader. This was what our leadership was about this last term. I was very happy to work with the leaders that we had. We made decisions by consensus. We took responsibility for everything we decided upon. Members have told me that my work is not done, and I agree, it's not done. Although we have many successes as a community, we have much more work to do to keep moving forward. Along with the ideas that you have presented, I am proposing that the new leadership hold a community engagement session in urban centers and in the community during the first 2 to 3 weeks after being elected, asking you, what do you want to see in the next 4 years? In the meantime, I will quickly share some of the main points of my campaign and ideas you have provided. Post-secondary education. It is important that post-secondary dollars are used efficiently for our students pursuing their goals and dreams. In the past 2 terms, we have made tremendous strides. We want to continue moving forward in this good way. This term, over $2.5 million were put towards our members in urban centers and in the community. I don't like to use off-reserve and on-reserve because all the post-secondary dollars was used for everyone. We also have top-ups that we received from ISC. We have increased the number of students we sponsored, along with tuition amounts, student allowances, and other supplies. Minegoziibe and Anishinabe students receive amongst the highest student allowance rates across the province. Therefore, due to the high cost of living and many other challenges our students face, I propose to increase the student allowance rate again this coming term. Community-based training. We have been very successful in offering educational and training opportunities right here at home. Between Minegoziibe, the Learning Hub, pre-employment support services, employment and training, social development, and post-secondary, we have graduated well over 90 students right here in the community. And that's in trades, professional development, and workshops. Without these local partners, we could not do the work we are doing. Additionally, I have secured funding from the MasterCard Foundation to open our very own training center. To date, we have offered over 12 training programs between the old McKay store and the new location. We graduated over 90 grads so far. Now I need water. Currently, we are working on an Indigenous teacher education program, electrical and plumbing trades, and introduction to university. I attended many meetings with education and funding partners to make these programs a reality. The challenge we have is that we don't have enough space to hold more than one program at a time. My goal and dream is to one day open our very own college or university. In the next term, I will be working on extending our training center. Educational programs offered in urban settings can be offered here at home. Social assistance. I have always advocated on your behalf for rate increases, access to resources, and better treatment wherever you live.
That's fine, let's see it. Okay. Alright, so let's Alright, we'll continue on with the questions. Do you plan for anything to be done for children who have disabilities?
Yes, I do. Do I have plans for children with disabilities is what you're asking?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, there is a lot of resources that are available for children with disabilities that we can connect them up with in urban settings. And as well as children with disabilities from here, there is Jordan Principal funding still yet that can be utilized with a medical certificate.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Minegoziibe?
Right.
Go ahead.
Thank you very much. All right, so the next counselor gathering, Shelley and Richard. 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for your questions.
I mean, everybody, my name is Shelley Richard, Gray Bear, Black Wolf, Green Turtle. I'm very honored to stand before you as a candidate for councillor for Minegoziibe Anishinabe. Like everybody said before me, I'll also call it Pine Creek I come to you not from somebody chasing a title, but someone who has already been doing this work, somebody who deeply cares and somebody who believes in the community together with heart, with purpose, and with respect. For many years, I worked in home care, caring for our elders and those in need. That work taught me a lot about humility, patience, and what true service looks like. During these years, I often struggled to find my own voice, but through these quiet, challenging moments, I found strength. And now that I've found my voice, I want to use it to speak for our people, especially for those who still feel like they aren't being heard. In the past 2 years, I served as the Building Healthy Communities Coordinator, BHC. It's been an honor and a blessing to help bring our people together through the community events, wellness programs, and partnerships with other organizations. I've seen firsthand that healing happens when we are connected, when we create safe spaces for people to gather, to speak, and to be seen. All alongside that role, I served as lead as our community AMA team, which means Road to Better Health, where I help guide wellness efforts grounded in the community care. I also work closely with our safety officers because I believe that community wellness and community safety go hand in hand. And it's all connected and it all matters. Through all of this, I've been pushing for our wellness staff and wellness people, making sure that these needs and voices are respected, because when we support our frontline helpers, our whole nation becomes stronger. As all of you were talking about addictions and wellness, I attended the first year in the program we are talking about at the Rising Sun. As you guys all know, I'm all nervous. And I wear my heart on my sleeve. That's why I'm trying my best not to be emotional and cry. But like, each and every one of you in this community don't see what all our people do as workers. We can't post, we have confidentiality issues, we have stuff we can't say. What I've seen these last couple of years is growth, strength. We're great. We're all a great team. All of our workers are excellent. But you know what? We could all be better. Community events. When I have something and we're hosting something, it's very hard to get workers and people to help. We need more people. We need more help. I also believe that we need more growth and development in our revenues and everything. We need places for people to come, like people, for instance, with the fires, the emergency evacuation. It would be great if we could open our doors for them and invite them. Like, unfortunately, our situation right now is not being that we could. I want to be real. I want to tell you that I'm not going to make empty promises and that I am who I am. What I will do is be strong, a steady voice, and I will listen. I will show up. I will work hard like I have been, just like I already have. Always talking to people 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, helping everybody I possibly can. Anybody who asks me, I try to help. And to me, if I don't get in, I'm great. I love my job. I love my position. I love my community. That's fabulous. Yeah.
Do you have any questions in the house? to talk to the town, flowers and the community or to
Do I have to shut this one off? I'll try. Grant!
Well, that's thank you. You're not quite right now. What's the work is going on? You're talking about that and support and stuff like that. When I started working things on the Amity, I'm still working with 4 or 5 guys that were buying us last year. Still making the sweats for the different programs. The guys who picked me up the team. I'm going to go to their house, hospital, who people want to look at somebody's house. And the guys sent me a letter or something off the team. Saying that it's for additional services. I do want 12 services. And then you said, well, we're not paying it. It wasn't about the money. I'm simply Shelley say that people can't find something all the time. You all want to be traditional. But when a person does the work, you don't get that as the work. So when I talk about mental health wellness, we should all be on the same page, support one another. That's not that's false. Let's false things we think what we're going to do. We go on. We have to look at ourselves. When we put on that face, that are we doing this for the school or for our people? You're not allowed to say, you guys have to look at what you want.
I've been working really hard for our mental health people in our wellness group. I've unfortunately been away medically quite a bit. I had some issues on my own health, but even from my hospital bed, I take calls and I talk to people, I answer them. At the time when Arthur got his letter, we had a situation in the community where it was like the cows and clothes, and we had a mandatory meeting where all of our Amity members and our safety officers and everybody to show up. And they were warned and told that if they didn't appear, that they were off the team. Our AM team hasn't been being utilized very much anymore. I think it's like a big confidentiality issue. Also, we have a great team now of safety officers who handle a lot of situations and they call us if we're needed. It's a volunteer thing, and there's 7 nations that use the same team. We're the only one who offers our members and the AMA team an honorarium. It's very hard to get funding. It's a free thing. We're volunteers. I appreciate everybody who puts their time into that because it's our community, it's our families, it's all of us. And right now, me being not able to do anything, it's very hard to see or to answer to somebody when they ask you and they're not allowed to do it. So after June 10th, you guys message me again, okay? One, 5 minutes. I also want to say all you guys are great, all you candidates, wonderful.
And for our last announcement, Charlene. All right, before we get to our last council candidate, I'd like to invite Joe to come and say a few words.
Thank you, moderator. I just want to announce to the people here and all candidates who came here under the garden, there will be a 400 upgrade on May 7th, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. And you'll be given all the time you want to speak and questions. And remember, there's 250 books and W if you want to. Thank you.
So now to our last councilor candidate, John Napu. You have 5 minutes for your speech and 5 minutes for questions afterwards.
Good evening. Sorry, good evening, everyone. My speech is a short one because I'm running out of time here. But my name is John Napu. As you know, I am seeking position as a councillor this year, elections. I've been working for the past 15 years for the health office as a Brighter Futures worker. I previously sat on the school committee, but no longer do. I sat on there for about 10 years. I also volunteer and coach U11 minor hockey team for the last 2 years and plan to continue. I also am a commercial fisherman in my spare time. I fish and I run a small outfitting business. I have coordinated many community events over the years with colleagues and other programs within our community for all ages, such as annual events, memorial events, treaty days, land-based activities, hunting, trapping, fishing. I really enjoy working with the members on and off the reserve. I've been living in the community for most of my life. I'm running for council with hope to continue the good work our previous chief and council have done. I'd like to contribute some of my ideas in building our communities in a positive way. I will not promise anything because you don't know what to expect until elected. I feel if you have a good work team, you can accomplish anything. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else in the house? Okay, so we have a couple of questions from online. Do you plan for anything to be done for children who have disabilities?
You know, I have not diagnosed with a son that has a disability, but you know, it's hard. You try to keep them home and teach them, or the school does a lot of one-on-one work, so support them in doing all that.
How are you going to create effective change for those micro patients and those in mental health crisis?
Okay, that's a big topic there. Like I said, I've been working with the health for 15 years. We've been bringing in programs, addiction programs, and you know, try to get people to come and for some of these addiction programs. But it's like, I know one counselor said, it's up to the person, you know, if they want to do, you can't force somebody to take these programs, and you can't, you know, push them keep on bugging, but like you said, it's a hard topic. We have addiction is bad. I have lot of experience on that. Knowing somebody that is addicted to drugs, and it's hard work. Yeah.
Any other questions? Thank you. For any other candidates that are running and haven't had a chance to come up and do a speech?